What's up, everybody? My name is Hector Flores, host of the Insert Name FC podcast, a member of the Belly Up Sports Media Network. You can find us on all things podcasting, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast fix from, you'll find us there at Insert Name FC. We also offer a full video version of this podcast, which is available on Belly Up's YouTube channel. So go to youtube.com, search Belly Up Sports, and you'll see us along with other podcasts that are available at Belly Up Sports. Also, check out their website, bellyupsports.com. It is up and running. Blog posts are being dropped in, especially right now. You got the NBA playoffs going on, NHL playoffs. That's the big stuff coming out here in America. Obviously, the NFL draft just happened. Things like that. If you guys want to know everything that's going on with U.S. sports, check out Belly Up Sports. And, of course, find us, Insert Name FC, over there as well. This episode 216, Edward's back. This is my weekend with Edward. It's I guess it's my custody now that I have with Edward. But we have headlines. We talk about Liga MX and a lot of the heavy criticism that they're getting from within, and we'll talk about that. We also will talk about Jamie Vardy. He is set to be leaving Leicester City this year, and we'll see where he departs to. If what are his options for Jamie Vardy? Bruce Arena yells at Cloud. We'll see what his thoughts are with the U.S. men's national team and feel if we agree with it or we don't. That's also going on. The Copa del Rey final happened. Barcelona won. I don't know what else you want me to say. But we break down the final, talk and share our thoughts on the ending and kind of the aftermath. Did one side was favored over the other, things like that. We'll talk about in that one as well. Give you guys our players of the week. Edward surprised me there. Did not expect him to want to keep pressing, but we did. Give you guys some games to watch this weekend and break this show up in a pretty little bow for you. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. So, yeah. Also, I don't know why I forgot this. Make sure you guys check us out on Instagram and X at InsertNameFC. Yeah, so you can see our posts and all that stuff as well. But yeah, so we're going to take a break and then we'll go right into headlines. Let me tell you guys about Belly Up Sports. Belly Up Sports is the internet sports bar. Go ahead and check out their website, www.bellyupsports.com, to read some great articles from great writers all across the country, from hockey, baseball, golf, soccer, you name it. Belly Up Sports is the premier, not your average website. All right, guys. So Edward's back. This is my week with Edward. I feel like I'm having a custody battle with you.
You're having a custody battle with my kids. Ironic.
Like, this is my weekend with Edward.
It's like, this is my weekend with your dad. Like, that's gonna be like the reaction.
Which is
Like,
kind
this
of
is
funny because I already have been hijacked by your kids. Like, it was supposed to be my weekend,
right.
and I don't get a weekend back.
Yeah, right. It's like, yeah, and then I think it was like what was it, last weekend or the weekend before that? Like I think it was like when we had like 2 straight weekends because I had the kids at that weekend too.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it was like yay, and they were like yay, and I was like yay, and then they were like, I know you were like, man, you were like Amanda Bynes, man.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
we did something a little different for this episode because obviously you guys know whenever Edward's on, he usually has a certain player representing him. But being that Barcelona did win their 32nd Copa del Rey, I decided to go ahead and give you Lamine Yamal, but with the Instagram FC logo over his face. So,
Nice.
so there you go.
Oh, that's some
Just for this
poet.
week, just for
That's
this
some
week.
that's some poet.
Then it's back to Timo Werner. I mean,
Oh
if Barcelona
God.
wins the Champions League and even La Liga, I'll probably do the same thing for you.
Yeah.
So to give you at least 1 week of not having to have Timo Werner, or at least not have to think of Timo
And then
Werner.
for sure, we're gonna go ahead and talk about it. And just in case if you guys didn't know, we'll go ahead and let you, spoiler alert. So yeah, this will be a fun little podcast.
But yeah, so Edward's back for this weekend. This is my weekend with him. His kids can't stop me today.
By the way, just want to also congratulate Liverpool,
Oh yeah, that's
and
right.
Kelsey.
Kelsey and
So,
Stuart Kavanaugh.
Oh, Stewart, yeah. So we're
Yeah,
gonna congratulate them.
yeah. Who
Well
would have
played,
thought?
bro.
First year away from Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah,
So,
right.
could you guys just
Yeah.
please do me a favor and just sign Trent Alexander-Arnold? I do not want this guy in Real Madrid. I'm sorry. I do not.
Really? I feel
Dude,
like he is the
he's a defensive liability. Why would I want him?
uh, okay. Well,
After
look,
what
think
just
about
happened, okay, well, I mean, it wasn't defensive reasons why we lost, but
but still, yeah.
the guy's a liability. Like we have too many defensive liabilities already as it is on this team. I don't need one
He's
more.
like we need a stone wall, not a chain link fence where it has holes. You know what I
Bro,
mean?
like
God dang.
we already have Lucas Vasquez. Like I mean, like what more do I need?
Bro, hey, no, to be honest, bro, like that last goal was not Lucas Vasquez's fault. I'm gonna be on it.
What, the
It
last goal?
yeah, the last one, the overtime goal. Because
That
even
wasn't. It was Brahim Diaz's. Bro,
yeah, exactly, exactly.
I'm not. Wait, why are you
That
throwing at Lucas Vasquez? He had nothing to do with the play.
no, I know, that's what I'm
Who
saying.
mentioned Lucas Vasquez?
You did right now.
Yeah, because in overall he's been a liability.
Oh God.
I've cursed his name
Well, that
plenty
I
of
know
times.
you have, but still, I mean, I'm like,
Like it
damn. And
pisses
then
me off when I see him with the captain's armband. I don't like it. Like I know it's because Carvajal is injured. Like if it and I mean honestly, if Carvajal was there, I don't know. Hey, he probably would have got smoked by Yamal. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah,
But
he was. I mean, dude, Vasquez was getting smoked. And that whole right side for him on, bro. He was
well,
constantly just
no,
cutting through.
Vasquez had Rafinha. Fran Garcia had Yamal.
Even then, oh yeah, you're
No,
right.
Fran
Because
did a good
then,
job. Hey, say what you want about Fran Garcia. I know a lot of people. He's not everybody's favorite left back, but I mean, like, I think he. I mean, yes. We'll talk about Copa.
yeah,
We
we'll
can
talk
either
about it.
you
We'll
want to
talk
talk
about
about Copa right now, and then we'll just do headlines later. If that's the
it.
case.
Let's do headlines first. Let's save
Okay, okay,
the
all
best
right,
for last. You know what I mean? Save
okay,
the
all
best for
right,
last.
all right. Yeah, so because I'm boiling up just talking about it right now.
Looking like a crawfish over there.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, anyway, that's a little bit of an inside joke from something we were talking about before we started recording. um, but yeah,
But yeah,
first headline is Liga MX, man. So there has been a lot of criticism. I mean, I think there's always been criticism of Liga MX. In general, I mean, I don't know how many times I've complained about it. Look, I love Liga MX. I think it's competitive, it's fun, um, very dramatic. Uh, the way I describe Liga MX is not like Salvadorian League is not anywhere close to the level of Liga MX, but when you watch like a Salvadorian League game, is football the word that you would use for it? No. It's not pretty.
it's not. It's
It's
not.
very
It
physical.
a lot. It's physical. The physicality of it once, and then like the technical aspect of
Like for
it.
instance,
Very rare. Very rare.
a red in the Salvadoran league, a red card would be a warning. So, just to put you in hindsight, but is it fun? Amazingly fun. Like I don't know how I don't know if Edward I don't know when's the last time you watched a Salvadoran league game, but
Ooh, it's been a minute.
I was laughing the whole time. As a matter of fact, I think I was watching Alianza versus Aguila. Because with Fubo TV, it lets me watch some of the Salvadoran games
Oh,
from
nice.
time to time. And I was watching that game, and mind you, Aguila and Alianza specifically is like the best team in El Salvador. Aguila, I mean, they've won trophies here and there, and they have Darwin Seten right now on their team. But yeah, I remember watching
F
that game, and like, is it pretty? No, but it was very enjoyable. And as a matter of fact, I think there's got a guy on TikTok that he watches like he like picks a random country and he watches like a league match from that country. Which, by the way, amazing cable subscription if he has that. He has that ability to do that. But so he watched one. It was like two lower teams from the Salvadorian League First Division. I just know that they have a pig for a logo, which that to me just is it's everything I want. Because it's belly up. Anyways,
Yep.
uh, but he watched the game. He said, "Was the football good? No, but he said he had the most fun watching the game because of just the just like the moments and when that goal did eventually did come, like it was like to him it was like just spectacular. So he really enjoyed the physicality and the comedy that does come from the Salvadoran Football League. Anyways, the reason why I said that is because Liga MX is a better quality game, but with that same physicality.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what I'm saying. The technical aspect of the of football is there. Like, you'll see uh these kids or even like, in their people in their prime in the Liga MX do these crazy skills. They'll do a Rabona, they'll go ahead and do like a back heel pass up in the air, media tijera, all this stuff. And I'm gonna be honest, the last time I saw the Salvadorian League, it wasn't like that. They would try it, but it would never play off. Um, I want to say the fields aren't that great either. So
Oh
it's like
no.
it's a lot of different aspects of it. But yeah, when the goal comes in the Salvadorian League, everybody of course makes a big deal because like the scores aren't going to be like you see something in Europe or in like Liga MX where it's like 3-1 or 4-1, 4-2. Like you see like goal scoring, a lot of goal scorers. These scores are like 1-0, like 2-0, like and at the most 3-0, like that. And it's the most. The thing is they don't come in like they're not technical. They're like it's all of a sudden it's just more of a long ball and the dude catches it and then just shoots it and either it goes out or it goes in. That's the way they play from what I remember. And
So
I'm like,
just one more Salvadoran League mention.
mhm.
Just so there was a in the playoffs because the Salvadoran League has a playoff format. But in Metapan, which is the local club that my most of my family support, they were in a I forgot who they were playing against. I think they were playing against Alianza actually. But they were playing, in their matchup, they had to stop the match because like the system overheated, so they couldn't like keep track of the score of the game. And,
Oh
and
man.
so someone had to like someone literally ran into that computer room with a fan. Like, like
Oh
one of
yeah.
those basic
Like
like
one of those basic win fans.
yeah, like the wind fans, they like they whatever is out there. That's what's gonna be blowing to your face, like
Yeah.
that. That's so. This guy runs out with the little fan, and it's like the generic one, like the white plastic one, the one that you can like add. You can has a setting where you can do it where it goes like left to right, right to left, or it just stands still. And so like he literally goes. You just see a guy runs over and puts it there. That was like the moment for me. That to me where I was just like, I love this league. This is the best. Where you're
Hey
just
man, he was trying to keep the game alive, you know what I mean?
yeah, I mean the game went on because of him. He was the hero. Um
There goes my hero.
did I think I posted an edit or something like no, it was something I put on my stories on Instagram where it had the hero from not your version, but
Oh,
no, Chad Kroger's version. But yeah, so
oh yeah, I
Liga
remember that.
MX is still fun. It's very much a fun league. Like I keep telling people, watch Liga MX. It's especially if you live here in the US, it's more accessible. You don't have to wake up early. You do have to stay up pretty late sometimes, but hey, like it's to me still like if you want something that maybe it's not necessarily pure football,
Oh,
but I mean
especially when they're doing the playoffs, man. Like you got to
the
stay up.
the
And
rivalries are insane, man. Like that's like to me that's the best part is the rivalries. I mean, Super Clásico, even though been very one-sided as of lately. Um, Tigres versus Monterrey, especially now that you have Sergio Ramos playing for Monterrey. Yeah, like the rivalries are intense. Like it's one of those things that you enjoy. But anyways, for those of you who probably don't know how Liga MX does it, they have two seasons. They have the Apertura and the Clausura, opening and closing season. Um, it's a table of 18 teams. Everyone plays against each other once for that opening and closing season, and then the best six teams automatically qualify for the playoffs, where and then 7 to 10 plays get into a playing round. Now, you guys already heard me preview this already, so I'm not going to go more in depth. But anyways, they go into a playoff, and then until you have a winner, which in Liga MX in the playoffs they do two legs, including the final. So the final does have a second leg. A little different, but that's Liga MX. Is it the best format? I don't know. I think I like the like Edward. You can tell me how you actually. I'll let you go first on this. Like, do you feel like having a playoff format instead of like how everyone else does it in Europe, where it's just a table and whoever finishes on top of the table, like for instance Liverpool, that's your champion. Like, do you feel like that ruins anything for like how Liga MX does it, or even MLS, who has cool, you're first place on the table, but you still got to do this playoff to find out whether or not you're going to be the champion.
uh, I mean, you also have to think about it. It's like they don't have that many number of teams, just like how they would in the European League. You know what I mean?
Liga
So
MX, I agree. MLS has like 30 teams, so it's more teams
yeah.
than than
So their playoff isn't, it's not like to me, it's not required for them to have like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and do like separate them, east west, or they do like the EPO where they have like a
no, that's not what
different kind of
I'm
stuff.
not referring to that. I'm talking
Oh, you're
about
not okay.
having just a playoff after like they literally because the one of the biggest complaints that you hear from overseas is that it makes no sense to have a if you have a champion that has the that finishes in first place over all everybody else, which is kind of people complain about with Inter Miami, right? They were the Supporter
Yeah,
Shield winner last year, best team in MLS, and then they get eliminated by Atlanta United in the first round of the playoffs. A very
yeah,
bad Atlanta United team, by the way. Um, I just like pointing that out. But like, and a lot of people came in defense of Inter Miami, like, no, they're the best team. They should be crowned the champions. They finished in first. They were the best team. They had the best points and most points in all MLS teams. Highest actually set the record for most points by an MLS team. Things like that, and then obviously for them to go into a playoff to get eliminated, and now basically their season meant nothing, which I did mention that in back when we used to post like videos like TikTok and stuff like that, where I was like, does winning a supporter shield mean anything? Absolutely not. It absolutely means nothing. And it's hilarious that FIFA trying to find a way to put Inter Miami in the FIFA Club World Cup was like, hey, because you won this thing, we'll go, which then aged very poorly because then they got eliminated by Atlanta United. And now you have Galaxy fans thinking that, hey, we should be the team that goes to the Club World Cup, not the team that couldn't even make it past the first round.
right.
So like my question is just that part, not the like
Oh,
not the whole East versus West thing. Like that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about like just having a playoff after you just had your
I mean,
season.
I get
So like
what they're saying.
right
Like,
now,
yeah,
example right now, Liga MX, Toluca should be now the champions.
right.
Like
So
if it win like how it goes, congratulations Toluca, you're now the Liga MX Clausura champion. Like that's what I mean.
yeah, I know what you're saying now. So basically, I think it's kind of like their way to give, I guess you could say, the little guy a chance. You know what I mean? Like whoever's not even in first place, like they could do an upset. It's like, sixth place goes against first place. I don't remember how many teams actually go up against each other. I think like the eighth goes against first, second goes against seventh. Like,
So
how
I think you haven't been watching Liga MX lately, but they have
nope.
a playing round now.
Oh, okay.
So as a matter of fact, right now they're probably gonna start playing soon. The first round of the playing games are gonna start, which is seven and eighth place play against each other to see who gets the second place team, which is Club America, and
Mm,
that's Pachuca and Monterrey. So Pachuca and Monterrey
okay.
are playing to get the seventh seed. On the other side, you got Juarez versus Pumas. That winner plays against next week. Will play the loser of the Pachuca Monterrey game to see who gets the final playoff spot.
Right.
So that's how they do it now.
Okay.
I don't know
Nah,
if you knew this or,
no, I didn't. I didn't.
but now that you heard that, what do you think? Because I think it's utterly stupid.
Yeah, now that you explained it, because at first I was trying to defend like the way they were doing it before. Now it's just like,
Well,
yeah,
okay, so if we were talking about like the way they did it, like the last format that they had, which they had like what, like 12 teams. Actually, I think it was
12
like
teams.
more teams qualified. I think it was like
I think,
there's like four automatically qualified, right? Yes, you had like wait, four teams automatically qualified. So yeah, you still had 12 teams. Well, yeah, more teams qualified for some sort of playoff, the reclassification,
you're right.
right? So like, yeah, no, and I mean, was that one bet? Not really. I was kind of like indifferent on it. I don't think I liked it too much just because like you already have 18 teams and you already had 12 teams qualifying for a playoff. Like, and same thing with the MLS. My biggest complaint is you have too many playoff teams. Like just shrink it down, shrink the number down, make it feel like you are in fact having the best teams competing for each other, competing against each other, you know?
Yeah.
But the old format from what I remembered, I think it was just eight teams. Like top eight, you're into the playoffs. From what I remembered, I can't really recall. It feels like so long ago. It was post COVID, pre-COVID,
Yeah,
pre-COVID.
pre-COVID. I was like post-COVID. I was like, we
Yeah, because
are.
this whole thing started. This format started because of COVID. Now
Right.
that I'm thinking about it, and they just kind of went with it, and now they have this new format, which I think is utterly stupid. And I made the argument like, well, that team now that had to play, play against, the loser and the winner of that one game. That team had 3 games, have played 3 games now. We'll be playing 3 games because like what? There's always a game on Wednesday and then there's a game on the weekend, right? For
Right.
Liga MX. So now this team that just qualified for that last playoff spot has now played a total of what, like 4 games in a week.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like in a span of a week, they played already 3 games. Like that's like a huge disadvantage. But I guess and I mean I made that argument, and then of course Club America, the team that gets that stupid spot, ends up winning the whole damn thing. So there goes my argument. But
Right.
to be fair, it is Club America. They're just too good.
They're just too stacked, man.
Yeah, I hate that they're so stacked, but of course they would be the team that would break that argument, but or bust that argument for me. But anyways, but yeah, so like the playoff format, a lot of people have issues with it. The other part is the promotion relegation side. Like, because of COVID, they actually stopped promotion relegation. It's supposed to be coming back in 2025, so I'm assuming when the Apertura kicks off uh, later on this year, that's going to be where now we have promotion relegation again. But I don't know, maybe they might talk about it because this is where like tinfoil caps, Edward,
Hmm.
where people were, because I believe 2020, I believe that was when Chivas was like really bad. And I mean like really, like I mean they're bad right now, but I mean they were bad.
Don't let Andrew hear you say that.
Like, well, because what they were like going through a coach like almost every season.
Right.
And so it was like it was getting pretty rough for like it wasn't until they got till they hired Almeida that things were
Almeida?
kind of
Oh yeah.
when
That's when
things got
things
like
got
a
way
little
better.
better. Yeah. And some people were like, "Oh, Chivas needs to stop just playing with Mexican players." Like, nah, keep that thing. Let them be that one. Like, like same thing with like Athletic Bilbao. They only play with Basque players. Like, I think that's
Yeah.
cool. I mean, and clearly they're doing a good job. So like if anything, Chivas just needs to step their game up. I don't know, maybe because I mean, one of the things that always had what I always knew about Chivas was like they always had good players. They guys came out of their academy, and they always had a good group of players. Whether you thought about Bofo Batista and Palencia and Omar Bravo, and then you had
Ramon
Chicharito,
Morales,
yeah,
Carlos Salcido. Yeah.
and a lot of them represented Mexico. So
Yep.
like, well, I mean, obviously that's there's no other countries they can represent. So I guess unless you're Cade Cow. Off of technicality.
Oh.
Like, I just love looking at that like when they do the national anthems. And you just see them panning and you just see Mexican player, Mexican player, Mexican player, kind of Mexican player. For those of you who
Yep.
don't know, K Cow is Mexican American. Um, I even have to remind myself sometimes when I look at him. But
Just the name throws you off a bit. That's it.
very, very Cali boy is what I'm saying. But yeah, like even the whole promotion relegation thing, um, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But Edward, tell me if I'm wrong here. But like, and I think the only reason why I know this is because of Club de Cuervos.
Yeah.
Um, there's some shady stuff that happens with promotion and relegation, right?
Yeah,
Like
sometimes.
because so if you guys don't know, also the one of the other glaring issues with Liga MX is that you have multi ownership groups that own multiple teams. And some of you may think that doesn't sound that weird, but like for instance, like I think when Chivas was on the verge of getting relegated, there was a team that was under the Chivas umbrella that was getting set to get promoted. And so essentially they were like, "Oh, we're just going to rebrand them as Chivas." Or
Oh yeah,
something along
yeah.
those lines. I don't remember it perfectly. Like I said, Club de Cuervos was was literally like kind of like a good like a little history lesson on how some of the shady things. Like Liga MX isn't perfect. I'm just gonna point that out. Is it a fun league? Yes, but is it very
Wishy-washy when it comes to that team
Corrupted,
ownership
corrupted.
stuff.
I think that's the word I'm thinking of. Corrupted. Yes, definitely,
Hmm.
wholeheartedly. It's not the worst thing in the world though, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, it gets pretty rough. But anyway, so Antonio Mohamed, who is currently the coach of Toluca, who is in first place, he went off on the whole thing. I'm not gonna say the whole quote, but essentially he was talking about how, you know, they need to start shrinking the number of playoff teams. Like he feels like 8 to 6 is like a good number. He also was like, you know, we haven't played a game, right? Because like everybody that the top 6 teams, they have to wait to find out who's going to be the last 2 playoff teams, right? So like is it an advantage? Maybe, I don't know. You know, the whole rest versus rust thing. Some teams maybe prefer to have some games, you know, play a game, whereas others are like, maybe they like the whole idea of being able to rest your players, get them healthy, and all that stuff. And I mean, technically, you could play like a friendly. Technically, I'm not saying you should, but you could. I know the Dynamo have done that a few times, but it's usually just against like some random college. There's nothing like too crazy. Um, but yeah, like you know, you talk about the whole like if you were to shrink the teams down, do you feel like you get like a better product because you're at least guaranteed like the good teams that season is gonna be competing against each other, whereas you have that one off team that was like that team was bad. Even though I ended up rooting for that team anyways. I'll be honest with you. I root for the underdog, but
Yeah,
but yeah.
I get what you mean and everything, and I'm in 100% agreement with you. I just I don't like the way that they're doing things now. I guess now that you explained it to me, like
And
I
then the one thing that pisses me off the most is I'm hearing an echo here. Is there it is. I think that's coming from everywhere. That's fine. Um, is to it is the tie on aggregate rule. Because once again, they're 2 leg games. Like once you're in the playoffs, it's 2 legs all the way to the final. Obviously, the final you have to go to extra time and you have to go to penalties. But in let's say the semifinal, so let's say it's Toluca versus I don't know Club Leon, and they're tied on aggregate. Let's just say Toluca won the first game like 2-1, right? And then the second leg, Club Leon scores one to make it 2-2. But because Toluca is the higher seed, they advance. So there's no extra time. There's no penalties. Because Toluca is the higher seed, they automatically advance. Like, I get it that you're trying to preserve at least that you're gonna have a good semifinal or a good final. But come on, man. That's like for Club Leon, I mean, that's like a momentum changer, right? Like you're like, oh shoot, we're about to go into extra time and we're gonna take down the first place team, right? And you ruin it because now they don't they have to like try. I mean, yes, they should be trying to score a second goal to be honest, but at the same time, like it's like to me the drama comes in when you have that extra time, right?
yeah.
So it would have been fun. It would have been cool. Everyone would, you know, I would have been like Joe Rogan every time he like announces an MMA match. Like, you know, like it does become exhilarating, but that's one of my things that I can't stand. Like I wish that like if it was tied on aggregate, you go to extra time, you go to penalties if needed, and you duke it out for that to make it to the next round. But yeah, no, there's a lot of flaws in Liga MX, man. Lots and lots of flaws. But and then I think another issue is just multi ownership, man. Like that does need to be. I mean, let Liga MX alone. And Edward, I don't know if you knew this, but I mean, as a matter of fact, the big storyline that happened in the FIFA Club World Cup was Leon, who had a spot in the Club World Cup, had to be taken out of the Club World Cup because of the fact that them and Pachuca are owned by the same group.
Right.
So they were ineligible to compete because Pachuca was there. And obviously now I think it's gonna be Club America versus LAFC to see who makes it to the Club World Cup. But which is kind of deflating because this team won the Champions Cup, the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Like they earned their spot in it, but because they're owned by Pachuca, which in reality I think I also agree that maybe there shouldn't be multi-owned clubs in my opinion, at least in the same league. Like I know Man City Group is a that's a whole thing. But like to me, like if it makes more sense what they're doing because they don't have what was it conflict of interest? Is that the word?
Yeah, the conflict. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. So like for instance, like Azteca, the TV channel, Edward,
Oh yeah. Gee, I
Maz
wonder who they belong to.
Mazatlan and Puebla,
Hmm.
like they own those teams. A network. I, I don't know. That seems a little weird. I mean, they didn't make the playoffs, so I guess that really it clearly doesn't work for their part. And then you have Grupo Caliente that also has Tijuana and Querétaro. And I think Caliente isn't they sponsor like a lot of the team's jerseys, I think. It's weird. That's all I'm saying.
Caliente?
Yeah, Caliente, Caliente. I
I think
think
so.
I think I've seen them on some of their kids. I don't know, man. These Liga MX kids are like walking billboards. So they're almost like it's like if NASCAR basically if a NASCAR car.
NASCAR car.
The cars from NASCAR. Like if you put that on if you made that into a shirt, that's basically what these kids look like. With all the sponsors. But yeah, but obviously so Apertura 2025. So in August, at least the promotion relegation should be addressed. But I mean, like you and me mentioned, Liga MX has been proven to be corrupted at times. Do you think Liga MX what do you see what do you see happening there? Because that's gonna be the first sign of change, right? At least that we're hoping that there could be some change. Where now we have promotion relegation. Now these teams in the second division now have their chance to go back into we can see Dorados again in Liga MX. Maybe Veracruz. Maybe um, FC Cancun, who's owned by who Jeff Lunau has ownership stake of. Like we can see them now in Liga MX. Like, do you feel like that would be the first sign of like something positive for Liga MX?
Uh, I think that would be something positive. At least start bringing in more. How do I say?
Because only one
I
team
think
gets promoted, I think, from what I remember. I think only one team gets relegated and one team gets promoted in Liga MX. I don't think they relegate three. So, and if
yeah.
you're, and I think also because if people are wondering, well, if you have two seasons, how do you do that? Like it's literally the team that's the worst team. Like they
Yeah.
combine the scores and then whoever was like on the bottom, that's the team that gets relegated. So, but I do believe it's one team that gets relegated. I don't think they do multiple teams,
Mm.
which wouldn't be like I kind of I'm not gonna lie, I kind of do like how Bundesliga does it. Well, even Liga 1, how Bundesliga and Liga 1 do it, where if you do relegate three teams, but like that last, that like the not the worst team gets a chance to play in to like get back into the first division. Like I think that does. I think it's fun to me. I don't know about you, Edward, but a game where you're playing for your life, not
A
literally,
game that I'm
but
playing for my life.
not literally, but like playing for your chances to stay up on in the top flight. Like I think that's fun, but yeah, I mean, aside from promotion relegation, like I mean, if you were to redo the playoff format, how would you do it?
Um, I mean, truthfully, I mean, maybe I would just go back to how it was, honestly. Like just
Top
recently.
eight,
Yeah.
top
Like
eight.
that, just top eight. Yeah. Like if there's a playing format like that. Because I mean, like I said, it's like there's not too many teams unless if they want to go ahead and start bringing in the newer teams, the second division teams up into the first division and actually make the league a little bit more bigger, then maybe everything will kind of change and start. They'll probably kill the playoff and then just start doing it how EPL, La Liga do it, you know?
I'm trying to
They'll
see
just start
like,
doing it like European. Because I mean, you do have like the second division. Dude, think about it. How long has it been since you seen Morelia up in there?
well, Morelia
More
got disbanded, and then
yeah.
but then a group of fans, I think was there a group of fans that brought him back,
Yep, yep.
because
That's what I'm saying.
Mazatlan is technically
Technically
Morelia.
Morelia, yeah. But I'm saying like they can actually bring it back. There's also other places that don't have like a soccer team, like an official soccer team that they can go ahead and make one. They do have the funds for it, but because of they are no longer bringing second division teams to the first division, maybe they could expand a bit more, just a little bit more. They wouldn't have to do the playoff style that they do. They could just go straight to the tables instead of doing
Hmm.
a liguilla, the apertura y clausura. I know that's been the way they've been doing it for years. They could still keep it up. It's just like I said, if they bring in more teams, then of course you might have to change the format. But if you don't bring in the more teams, then I just say uh, top eight. That's it.
Hmm.
Top eight, liguilla, apertura, clausura.
No, yeah, for sure. And I mean, I agree with you with those three. And then I would remove the aggregate goal rule. Like it, I think if you're tied on aggregate, you got to go to extra time.
Yep.
I think it goes right down to it. You played two games, you haven't decided a winner yet, go to extra time. It doesn't matter if you're the higher seeded team. Like you if you can't get it done in regular time, then but like oh no man, I still enjoy Liga MX. Is there things that need to be fixed up? Yes, and I think that like for the sake of the Mexican national team, which I mean, Edward, you and me both talked about,
Yep.
it, it's not looking great. I mean, there's obviously they won the Nations League, and I'm not taking that away from them, but this is not something that I'm saying off of my opinion. This is actually literally like the opinions of everyone that I know that's Mexican that supports El Tri, and they talk about how they like there's just not a group of Mexican players because I feel like also there's a lot more international guys playing in Liga MX now.
Yep.
More than ever. The reason why maybe Chivas is uh ideology isn't working as much is because now other teams are going after these international players. I mean, look at Tigres. I mean, look at Club
Dude.
America.
Yeah.
Like these guys, go get guys from Argentina, go get guys from Brazil. I mean, a guy from France just said, "F it, I'm gonna move here." You know,
Yep.
and I mean, I think he's technically not Mexican. I think he actually got his citizenship. So
I mean, he's been there for a while.
yeah, dude, it's crazy how long he's been there. Like, I mean, I feel like since the podcast started, he's been living. No, even before then.
Yeah, well, he was way before then.
Yeah, yeah, because it was after the Euro that Ronaldo won, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's when he. Yeah. Oh my God.
The thing
Yeah,
about it, that means Ronaldo was still playing as a captain for Portugal,
that's
and
insane.
I think he was still playing for
Yeah, no, because it was
Juventus.
it, it was like when that news dropped that he went to Tigres, because he was I think like a lot of people were like, oh, he's still like in the prime ages of a striker, for him to go play in Mexico, and I mean
Yeah, in
clearly it was
2015, bro.
yeah
2015.
10 years. Oh yeah, so it's been 10 years.
10 years, dude. 10 years he's been living in Mexico and he picked up everything.
I mean the dude speaks his Spanish is very Mexican too, by the way. So I mean,
Yahweh, ya no.
bro, I love that man. Yeah, it's a fun league, but yeah, like I think also kind of I think if that ends up working, it's gonna help the Mexican national team. Um, because I don't know, man, like it's been weird to me. Like I haven't really felt like there's like any young Mexican players that really jump off the board. I mean, besides Marcel Ruiz, I think Marcel Ruiz, which don't know why he doesn't get called up, if you ask me.
Mm,
But like he's pretty good. I'm curious as to what happened with what's his name, Flores.
oh yeah.
Like what happened to him?
He's
Linus, I
on
mean,
yeah.
Linus, there was
Oh
so
yeah.
much conversations about
There
him.
was so much him. There was stuff about him being like the Mexican Messi because of his dribbling
Yeah,
and all that
that
stuff.
was the kiss of death. But I think that's probably
Hmm.
where that ended for him. But yeah, like I mean, it's just like we don't. There's not like any young names. I mean, there's still names. I mean, you got what was it Johan Vasquez, right? Who's
I
right now
think so.
who's playing in the Serie A. He's still doing fairly well for himself. But I just like Liga MX just needs to keep developing Mexican players. I think that's just your league should be your home league should be the one producing the
The
players.
teams, the players.
Yeah, like I mean, yes, if they go overseas and they play overseas, that's fine. That's just another part of the next process of the development. But like all the young Mexican players we need to be like, oh shoot, there's this one kid, you know.
Yep.
So that needs to be on Liga MX's part. So I think also another a little bit about that, man, because I mean, you know. as much as I clown about Mexico, as much as it just goes back to the rivalry with USA and Mexico, and maybe a little bit of El Salvador, but I think that's more one sided to the other. But I mean, to be honest, true. But I think it just go, iron sharpens iron, right? If Mexico's good, the USA can only get better, right? Same thing with Canada and all that. Like when these teams are both at their best, you get good quality
Yeah,
finals.
because remember the rivalry always used to be, U.S. Mexico. And then we at a certain point we end up getting uh U.S. versus Canada, but it was like recent, in recent years.
Hmm
It's always been El 2-0. It's always been, uh,
I mean,
whenever,
how many times people are going to replay Gio Dos Santos' goal over Tim Howard?
yeah.
You know,
And I mean, think about it. That's Gio Dos Santos, not even Jonathan Dos Santos, Gio Dos Santos. Like that's a while back.
that's his story needs to be observed.
Well, think about it too this way. They were saying that he was going to be the next Ronaldinho when he was in Barca.
Well, because what Gio and Jonathan are both like Brazilian Mexican, right? Mexican Brazilian, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I mean,
But
like
the thing is, like, the only one that
both
stayed at Barcelona was
Jonathan.
Jonathan. But the
Well, because
thing is
I
because
think and
He went to Tottenham at that point, I think.
yeah, I mean for any L3 fans there or any Giovanni Dos Santos fans, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I think in Barcelona the only issue was that he just didn't have he there was like no spot for him, to
Right.
overtake at least at that time, and he wanted to be playing, and I think that's when the move to Tottenham happened, which I mean, it's Tottenham. It's a dumpster fire over there. So you know, good luck on that part. But then I think then he went to Villarreal. Then he went
Oh
to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Villarreal for a bit, and I don't remember when was the what if he was with one more team before he went to the LA Galaxy, and then obviously then finished it
Didn't
up in America.
right.
And I don't know what he's doing now, but I know Jonathan's still with America. Um, he did follow his brother to LA Galaxy. I do remember that.
Yeah.
And then obviously then followed him to America, or maybe probably the other way around. Anyways, not important to the whole thing, but but yeah. So hopefully Liga MX gets better. Um, yeah, I think 2025. If I could also see where they just like, hey, we're gonna push this back another year of the whole promotion relegation thing. I
Yeah.
can see that happen. But like I think the important thing to mention also from Antonio Mohamed when he was talking about it, because okay, I'll finish this whole thing with this quote. Every day we're becoming more and more like the league up north. Obviously, he's referring to MLS. There's no
Right.
relegation. There's nothing. Everything's too similar. I think differently. 6 teams should qualify, or 8 at most, not 10. And having to wait 15 to 18 days to play again, it's not serious. But well, I'm sure they're thought about that in detail. Like the only reason I'm pointing that probably like the second the other part of the whole game thing probably wasn't necessary. But Liga MX is like these guys are like, hey, I don't want to be another MLS
Yeah.
you know, and there, even right now with the whole thing that's going on with Major League Soccer, where you got USL showing that hey, we're gonna if they don't want to do a promotion relegation, we're gonna do it, and we'll see where the alliance falls. Like, let's see
Yep.
where U.S. soccer fans really stand. Like, do U.S. soccer fans do care about promotion relegation? Well, here is your chance to see if you really are all in for promotion relegation. And so, and I will say, if USL proves the MLS wrong that fans do care about promotion relegation and that you still have that fandom despite they get relegated or anything like that. I think that that's going to be where it's going to force MLS's hand to either start their own system or buy USL, which is probably the most logical thing to do. Buy USL, and now you have your triangle, your pyramid, your
Right.
pathway, and now you have this system where you have all the leagues and all these teams across the US. Um, and maybe that improves US soccer. There's a whole other things that need to improve. The reason why I don't dig too deep into promotion relegation as far as for U.S. soccer goes is because I just don't think that's the end all be all solution to all the problems that involves with U.S. soccer. Like,
Right.
okay, cool, the league's more inclusive. I'm all for that part, but do I think that solves the whole U.S. soccer problem? No, it doesn't. And that goes back with the whole pay to play. pay to play is still going to be a problem. I know people say that there's scholarships that MLS academies offer. Yeah, that's some scholarships. That's not all scholarships. So,
Yeah.
that's a whole can of worms that I'm not ready to open yet, just yet. But yeah, anything else you want to say before we move on from Liga MX?
Nope. You kind of covered all the bases, sir.
I appreciate that. All right. Speaking of that, Astros just beat Kansas City. Thank God. Hey guys, this is Hector from the Insert Name FC podcast here to tell you guys about Canada Dips. It is a great tasting, superior alternative to traditional dip using CBD in a way that is radical, enjoyable, and effective. It comes in 5 core flavors: wintergreen, mint, citrus, mango, and American spice. Canada Dip CBD is the new evolution in dip, allowing guys to enjoy great, long-lasting taste without the downsides. If you guys want to go ahead and try them out, use the code BELLYUP20 at CanadaDipCBD.com. Once again, BELLYUP20 at CanadaDipCBD.com, and you'll get yourself 20% off your purchase. Thank you again for Canada Dips for being a great partner of Belly Up Sports. Jamie Vardy, Edward, I just want you to say what your thoughts on Jamie Vardy, just in general, not anything right now about what
He
we're about to talk about, but just
okay.
when you hear the name Jamie Vardy.
He is a journeyman. He is a journeyman striker that basically brought out Leicester City from the darkness whenever they first started up in the EPL, because everybody was like, "Damn, who is this guy? Like, how is he scoring all these goals? Like, how is he doing everything possible to, make sure these guys don't end up losing?" He was the one scoring all the crazy ass goals and stuff for them. Mind you, I think Jamie Vardy at the time was considered, a bit on the older side compared to all the strikers at the time when Reinier was being the coach. But I mean, dude, Jamie Vardy is just a hardworking badass. Like that's how I see him. He
No,
doesn't
yeah.
take he doesn't take anything for granted, to be honest with you. Like I think because maybe because of his humble origins and being a family man, maybe like that's
I
why I
mean, I
think.
think wasn't this guy like at one point just a part-time player? Because
Yeah,
I think he worked. I think he was a like a blue collar guy. In the meantime, also playing, but yeah, he was playing like in the lower divisions in England. And then obviously gets his opportunity with Leicester, and I think obviously the rest is history. I mean, that Leicester team, by the way, like all the talent that they got, and I mean, everyone always asks like, oh, what happened to Leicester, like a team that shocked the world in 2016, which is crazy to believe,
well,
2016.
yeah. Well,
Um,
everybody, well, what you call it?
almost 10 years, almost 10 years when Leicester won the Premier League. But I think like what happened to that team, and it's like is the reality of the game. It's the good teams they stay good because they buy the players from
Yeah, they buy the players,
the
and I
good
mean
players from the other teams. So,
that's
and
exactly what happened.
that's exactly what happened. You have N'Golo Kante going to Chelsea. You had um who was the Algerian winger? Mahrez. Mahrez went to
Mares,
Manchester
yeah,
City. Drinkwater went to Chelsea, I believe, as well. Um, the basically a lot of the guys from that team left to the point that the only player from that 2016 team that I believe is still there was Jamie Vardy. And obviously then they got relegated, got promoted up. I believe they won either an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup. I think it was the FA Cup that they won. Also in between all this, but it. But all this happened for Jamie Vardy, and he did get a look for England, I believe. I don't know if he got called up for any major tournaments, but I do remember him getting called up for England. Um, but a guy that maybe many people didn't expect for him to have a career had a career,
yeah,
and I think that's like the best part of all this whole story. But anyways, the whole thing with Jamie Vardy will be that the Leicester legend. I think it's fair to call him a legend, right?
yep,
Um,
I
he's
agree.
he will not be returning to Leicester this year. Leicester will be relegated once again to the championship. Um, and he is looking to go elsewhere. Also, this is a quote he left on his to announce that he will not be returning to Leicester. By the way, at this point, I don't even know what to say. No words I have can ever express my feelings of anger and sadness with the way the season has gone. There are no excuses. Collectively, as players and as a club, we failed. There is simply no hiding, and I refuse to entertain any suggestions of doing so. Having been at this club for so long, we've experienced so many highs and successes, and this season will be nothing but miserable, and for me personally, a total embarrassment. It hurts, and I know you're feeling it too. To be fans, I'm sorry. Sorry we haven't performed, and sorry we end the 2025 season with such a shit show. Sorry, Kelsey, was a quote. But yeah, I mean, if you say that, there's no way you're coming back. You're just gonna. But I mean, fair point, right?
Fair point.
And I think that's another part about Jamie Vardy. He's honest. He
He's always
doesn't.
blunt. He's blunt. He's upfront. He's not gonna hide. He's not gonna shy away from, you know, any insults that are taken to him.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he said it best. He's just like, look, we just didn't live up to expectation, which the expectation was just to stay in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was not a great performance. I mean, to be fair though, at least it wasn't Southampton, but
Right.
because that was bad. But but regardless, they're getting relegated along. And you know the three teams that got promoted up to the Premier League this year are all getting relegated. But and I mean to be honest with you, like, can he grind it out another year in the Premier League? Can he grind? I mean, not obviously not in the Premier League. Can he grind out another year in the Championship? Probably not. I mean, the dude's 38 years old,
Yeah.
and obviously, as I mentioned, that age, there's a certain league that has piqued interest in. Actually, there's two leagues to be specific, to be honest, because Saudi Arabia has also dropped some interest in Jamie Vardy. But also MLS, this obviously doesn't help the argument of that we're not a retirement league. So, but
Yeah.
I mean, hey, Olivier Giroud, what? He's on the verge of being 40. So, and Messi, he's also at the verge of being 40.
Yep.
Um, Suarez, he's pretty old.
Yeah. He's old, but I mean, he's feeling it though.
Sergio Busquets, I mean, he's no spring chicken. Jordi Alba, Thomas Mueller apparently wants to come to the MLS too. So, Marco Reus,
He's Marco Luz, yeah, he's here
yeah. So, yeah, we're Kevin De Bruyne apparently is coming too.
apparently.
Yeah, then probably we're gonna keep going with this whole retirement league talk. Anyways, so there is some MLS teams that are interested in Jamie Vardy. I think what this year I think Jamie Vardy I don't think he started all the games. I think he came off the bench uh
Yeah.
for some matches. I'm sure he started some matches, but I think he came off the bench for most of them. So I mean, like I said, no spring chicken. So why is that an analogy, by the way? I've been watching like a lot of TikToks of of people from like England that are like intrigued by like some of the sayings that Americans have, and like with that saying that he's no spring chicken, like
You're like trying to figure out what does that mean?
spring
Is that
chicken.
is that is that does that mean that like it's a chicken that's born in the spring and it's
That's
like
what I'm assuming that's what they mean, but like or a
or like
spring chicken,
chickens
brand
who
new
jump a
chicken.
lot? Yeah, chickens who jump a lot maybe.
Yeah, we have a lot of sayings that I never understood. Apparently, English people never knew about smelling rain. I
Smelling rain?
you've never like, yeah, it's gonna rain.
I mean, I heard the whole I
You
can
never
feel it in my
smelled rain
bones.
before?
I mean, if you mean humidity, yeah, I have.
Like it starts raining, you don't smell
Smells
the
like
rain?
rain. Yeah.
Yeah, it smells like rain. Apparently they don't that they've never known that was a thing.
Hmm.
There's a video of a guy that just like Americans, I finally done it. I can smell the rain. He's like, I get it now.
This dude.
I was like, I'm proud of you, buddy. But anyways,
You're like, welcome to America.
so obviously Saudi Arabia, if they were to drop a bag on him, I mean, I wouldn't say no.
You wouldn't be
That's
surprised.
I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, shoot, Saudi Arabia, if you want to pay me to like your league, I'll do it. So
Damn.
best best league in the world, some may say. They're not. Absolutely not. Also, I don't know how they feel about me. But anyways, Anyways, but obviously with the whole MLS thing, like, is there teams that would fit to what Jamie Vardy can provide? Which I mean, the guy can still be a spark up top. I think for MLS, he could be a starter. Maybe not every game, but he could, kind of similar to what his role was with Leicester this past year. Um, so I thought of some teams. I actually get Edward. Edward sees the list of teams that I brought up. I'm only mentioning three. All right.
Yep.
So Galaxy's a clear, obvious one, even though they're not doing so well. I think they're still looking for a win after winning the MLS Cup last season. Um, the team has just been in complete disarray. But I mean, getting a nine could probably help them maybe get a shot in the wild card. Um, the other team is the team that got their first loss against Inter Miami, who Inter Miami, by the way, is still undefeated, I believe, in MLS, and that's the Columbus Crew. And I've mentioned it plenty of times that this team needs a nine. I mean, why not go get Jamie Vardy, right?
Right.
And also, I don't think he's like it. I think the thing that is interesting about Jamie Vardy, and I'm just gonna point this out. I think he is high profile to some extent. Edward, you
Hmm.
can try to disagree with me if you want when I say this. I
No,
don't think
he's
I don't think he's gonna be as expensive enough that he would have to be a designated player. Like I think you can get away with signing him as just a like under your salary cap. Like I don't think it's gonna be too expensive.
you may be right about that, actually. I'm in agreement with you on that because he first of all, he's not like the only championship that he has is with Leicester City.
Hmm.
And even after all this time, he doesn't
Well,
have
he
anything
also got the
else.
FA Cup.
Oh yeah, the FA Cup. Yeah, but I mean that's been a while ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean no disrespect to him at all. It's like if anything, he's an inspiration to journeyman soccer players and everywhere. Because like
Hmm.
that's the dream. That's the goal,
Hmm.
you know? So it's just we just don't see it.
Like I
You know
think
what I mean?
I think he's obviously everyone recognizes him, right? As Jamie Vardy is the guy that for what he did with Leicester. Like I think as amongst people that at least people that follow like the Premier League and just football in general, like you're gonna know who that guy is. Is
Yep.
he gonna attract people? I think to some extent, yes, but he's not Messi, obviously, and he's not even Jordi Alba as far as like
Mhm.
popularity goes. Like
The
and
only
once again,
reason, look, I'm gonna tell you straight up, and it sucks to say this, but the only reason why Jordi Alba is even relevant is because Messi thinks highly of him.
yeah, but I mean, but I mean, like, who's more recognized? Would you say was more recognizable, Jamie Vardy or Jordi Alba?
And I'm telling you this, I would be more excited, and I'm telling you this as a
I
Barca
no no
fan,
no. I know the excitement part. I agree, but I'm just saying, like, who would be more like, oh shoot, they got Jordi Alba.
more
Oh shoot,
known, Jordi Alba.
yeah. Yeah. Once again, no disrespect to Jamie Vardy, even though Jamie Vardy,
No disrespect at all. Like I said, I'd rather go watch Jamie Vardy play over Jordi Alba.
especially if it's just Jordi Alba on the field.
I mean, dude, I mean, honestly, dude, I feel like Jamie Vardy could still score some bangers out of the area, dude.
Hmm. The highlight of Jordi Alba's career is just the that your kids thought that he was Messi for 1 second.
Yeah, dude, honestly, that's literally what that was, and it was just pretty sad because then after that they wanted to leave, and I was like, I get it.
Yeah, but anyway, so LA Galaxy, Columbus Crew, and I think the other team that I would be thinking of, because I feel like they either a team. Oh, I mean, LA Galaxy. Okay, I'll push the LA Galaxy to the side just because right now they're not doing great. But Columbus Crew for sure, they're a contender, right? So this is, I think ideally he would want to go somewhere where he can compete. Columbus, very blue collar. Ohio's a very blue collar-ish city. Not classy, nothing sexy about Ohio. Um, if you say Ohio, you probably think of LeBron James. You know, once again, not the sexiest of places to if you think of it when it comes to Ohio. Um, so maybe that fits with Jamie Vardy, right?
Right?
you know, came from that grind, that blue collar kind of environment. I think that'd be a cool spot for him. I think San Diego FC would be very interesting if he wants to go to California. San Diego looks really good. I think that they definitely could use a striker. I think you pair him with Chucky Lozano, and Dreyer looks amazing right now in San Diego FC. Mind you, San Diego is also the newest team in MLS. So you have all that, right? The all pizzazz. You got San Diego, beautiful city, right? San Diego. I mean, maybe he can not in their first year win an MLS Cup. I mean, how cool would that be for his legacy? I mean, he's
Yeah.
got the ultimate. I think he's got like the ultimate like legacy flex. By the way, because he got to win the Premier League when Manchester United wasn't that terrible.
Yeah, that's saying something. That's saying something. Like all the teams in that Premier League at the time, they were decent.
Yeah,
They were actually fairly decent. All the big name teams, Manchester United, Manchester City. Because I believe at that time, Manchester City, they had decent
Arsenal wasn't
company
good.
and defense.
Arsenal wasn't very good that time. But yes, the Manchesters were kind of both going toe to toe. I think Chelsea was actually pretty good. That
Chelsea was good. I think Frank Lampard was still playing.
Poch was still with
Um,
Tottenham.
Pochettino was still
And
there.
also, by the
I
way,
think
that was probably like the best. This is the one nice thing I'll say about Tottenham for today. Like when Pochettino was with Tottenham, that was probably like the best I ever saw at Tottenham. So that's my one nice thing to say about Tottenham for today. Um, but yeah, and then I think the other team, so Columbus Crew, San Diego FC, and I would say Seattle Sounders. I just think that culture right there in San Diego, they would want and Seattle would just embrace him. They need a nine. And yeah, once again, they need him. They need a nine in that position, and I think they need to show up in the goal scoring. Jordan Morris is just not that guy anymore.
nope.
So I think if Seattle wants to stay in playoff contention, a guy like Jamie Vardy, they just got Kent from Rangers as well. You know, why not stack that? I mean, defensively, I think that Seattle could be really good. They just need to start scoring some goals. So, and they have Jesus Ferreira, and they still haven't been able to score goals. So, I think to me, Columbus Crew, San Diego FC, and Seattle Sounders, I think are like the prime locations for him. If he wants to go somewhere where he's going to contend right away.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Obviously, Edward has no idea because he doesn't watch MLS.
No, but I mean, I agree. Like, he doesn't need like a big name team going after him. I feel like maybe more homey kind of team, something that's more quiet. Like, I feel like that would be his deal. Like, that would be his shtick. Like, because he just seems like that type of player. He doesn't seem like I want to go play for let's put it this way. Let's say that for some odd
if he
reason
if
they'd
he
be
goes to
like,
LAFC, that'd just be so unfair.
no, well, for one, it's not even that. It's just for example, let's say America throws their hat in the ring, and then you got, like you said, Ohio, something small.
Bro, I think Jamie Vardy could get me to like America.
Well, no. Here's the deal.
Well, because Jamie,
He's not an America player. Like,
no,
he's
he's not.
not. He's more of a just
Also,
hometown kind of.
yeah.
It's like, let's put it this way. It's like having Guiñac in Tigres. You know, it's
So,
just
so you
he's.
really like the Columbus idea then?
I mean, yeah. He would actually belong there. As much as, let's say, I would want him to be, let's say, for Dynamo. Like, I feel he would love it here. I feel because it's very chill. It's not nothing crazy. But yeah, honestly,
I would love to have him in Houston, but Houston already has Ponce. And
yeah.
so, and I mean, he literally just scored yesterday against Austin. Also, fun fact, I don't know, Edward has like doesn't really care too much about MLS, but for some reason he doesn't like Austin FC. So
It's
that's
just too
I sh
fruity.
I just think it's so funny.
It,
He's
it
like,
sucks
I,
that it
I
sucks
don't
that
care for
Matthew
this league, but I
McConaughey.
just don't like Austin.
Yeah, it's like it just sucks. So it's like Matthew McConaughey, great guy, and then he's part of Austin FC. Damn it. Like,
It's
some
just so
fruity
funny.
ass. I'll be honest, like, Austin's just kind of fruity. No offense to my Austin people,
Your family's from
I got
Backshot.
fam. Yeah, I know. No,
Your
well,
fa
no, they grew up and they lived in Austin. It's just, I don't know. I always thought it was like the
Austin is
snooty.
so weird, man. Austin is such
Like,
a
I feel
weird
like
city.
Austin is the snooty places, like, compared to Houston.
It's snooty, but then super hippie. Like
Yeah,
there's no in between. It's just
can't do it.
it's either you're a politician or you're super liberal, like, and not
Like,
that
nope.
kind, not the political liberal. Like I
No,
mean,
nah, no, nah.
yeah, like there's no in between. Like it's either that, either you wear a suit whether you wear a suit to work or you're in flip flops. So
Weird.
it's this weird city, weird city. Good barbecue though.
Yeah.
Yep, really good barbecue. But yeah, man, Jamie Vardy. I do love the Columbus Crew idea. I think also Columbus Crew has like arguably I think the best football coach. I say football because it is football manager in MLS, and that's Wilfred Nancy. The dude is just I just love hearing him talk. Like I just love hearing him talk football. It's one of those things that like you can it's a proper manager, Edward. Like honestly, Edward, like I would say like I know you're not a real big fan of MLS, but if you ever get a chance just to watch a Columbus Crew game, I think that that would probably be like, wow, this is they actually are playing like fluid, not dribbling. Obviously, I know you're a dribbler guy, but when I feel like if you were to watch Columbus Crew, and I mean, yeah, they lost 1-0 to Inter Miami, by the way. So I don't know. I'm not saying Edward would be a Columbus Crew fan. I'm just saying he would be able to be like, I like Wilfred Nancy, is what I'm saying. Because I like Wilfred Nancy. Dude doesn't have a
Oh,
nine and it still finds a way to win games. That should
he
tell you
has a
everything.
he's like he has a in between. He's a 9.5 or 9 3/4.
Dude, it's crazy, man. Like, cause I've been complaining about this on Wake Up MLS. Like, oh, Columbus doesn't have a nine. I'm not really sold on this Columbus team because they don't have a nine. And I mean, they were undefeated until they lost to Inter Miami. So, what do I know? Like, so,
Right?
but yeah, but going from one proper football manager to soccer coach extraordinaire Bruce Arena. Um, yeah, so the former U.S. men's national team and current San Jose coach shared his thoughts of U.S. soccer as a whole, at the current state of U.S. soccer. If you guys don't recall, U.S. men's national team had like probably the most embarrassing CONCACAF Nations League performance of all time, and I mean, mind you, this tournament's only like 4 years old, but they did lose to Panama yet again. I think this is now their third straight loss to Panama in a competitive match. And then obviously, then on top of that, they lose to Canada in the third place game.
Damn.
So in case you guys didn't remember, guys, you guys watched plenty, haven't listened to many of these episodes where I've complained about how that team performed in that Nations League. And apparently, Edward did not pay attention to it either because he just, I guess, this is news to him.
It's more of like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so Bruce. So if you guys don't know, Landon Donovan and Tim Howard have a podcast together. It's the Unfiltered. I don't know what the fuck they call it.
I'm surprised that you said Landon Donovan's name without some hate in your voice.
I mean, I think at this point everybody knows I can't stand Landon Donovan. Screw that guy. You happy,
It's
Kelsey?
just
Kelsey, I didn't say a bad word yet. All right, screw you. Screw him. All right. But yeah, so he goes on their podcast, and obviously, for obvious reasons, because Bruce Arena was their coach at least twice in two different instances for the U.S. men's national team. And obviously also a really good MLS coach. Like obviously, if you think of Bruce Arena, you think of his time with the DC, with his first stint with DC United, where they were dominant. And then obviously then went to the went coach the U.S. men's national team. Then came back, coached LA Galaxy, made them a championship team as well. Then went back to coach the U.S. men's national team after Jurgen Klinsmann got fired. Um, and then came back, had New England looked like they were gonna do something, but then something happened, some sort of scandal, I believe, happened. And so then he was let go from New England, and now he's with San Jose, which right now they look like they might do something this year, which is says a lot because San Jose has been terrible for so many years. But anyways, he goes on to their podcast and he talks about shares his thoughts on the whole current U.S. men's national team. And I mean, this current U.S. men's national team has been so I don't want to say contradicting or anything that it's conflicting, right? You don't know how you feel about the team. Many agree that this is probably the most talented group of players that the U.S. men's national team has ever had
yeah.
in years. Um, but they don't play really well, if that makes any sense. Because you have like, and I think once again, it's cool seeing these guys saying that they are playing for clubs like Juventus, playing for AC Milan, playing for Borussia Dortmund, able to say they play in the Premier League. You know, best some of the best players in the Eredivisie. You know, all these things are cool things to highlight. But when you're not able to do it in the international stage, and and I hate saying this, Edward, but going up against teams that you should beat. I hate saying that because I hate saying that you should beat Panama. Because if you should beat Panama, you would be beating Panama.
Yeah.
You know, if you should be beating Canada, but you don't beat Canada.
I mean, to be
Weirdly
fair,
enough, they could beat Mexico, and Mexico beats everybody else. But yeah, no, it's a weird thing. I hate the phrase saying you should beat Panama because in reality, if you should beat them, then you would beat them. And as of lately, clearly you have not been able to. So either that tells me two things: one, Panama's gone better, which probably there's some truth behind that one, and secondly, your U.S. the U.S. men's national team is just mid. I don't want to say bad. I'm
damn.
gonna say mid.
Oh, I thought
Um,
you were about to say dog water.
I contemplated on that one. I contemplated on that one.
I literally I could have sworn, but okay.
I was gonna say cheeks also.
Cheeks? Ooh.
I was gonna say cheeks. They're not playing well. They're not fluid. They're not aggressive. At this point, I'm reiterating every complaint that I've had so far. But but yes, they have not been great. Those performances, the game against Panama was very overwhelming. Overwhelming is another word. Overwhelming is probably the best word to use. Um,
Yep.
where and they're just not being aggressive in the final third. Is it Pochettino's fault? Partly, but at the end of the day, it's mentally. Like everyone keeps saying like if the 2014 U.S. men's national team played against this U.S. men's national team, the 2014 team takes it clear, and that was not a talented roster.
Yeah.
But man, did they have some mentality. Mind you, that
Mm.
2014 team, by the way, they came out of the group of death, right? They got out of the group that had Portugal, Germany, and Ghana.
Yep.
Those guys, that team is who we're referring to. And some people have even gone further back to the 2002 team,
The 2000s, yeah.
which I mean they eliminated Mexico in the round of 16 and then get eliminated after that. But anyways,
I mean, they got eliminated by, was it the world champions, Germany? Like,
the
or
two was
close to?
Brazil.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. 2002, but they got eliminated against the finalists.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not, and then it was against Oliver Kahn.
Yeah,
So, I mean, it's not a bad deal.
that's true. And I think more and more Americans need to understand like that's where that's honestly where we are. Where we're
It's
just
like
like
let's put it this way. Right now,
our peak right
everybody,
now. People say our peak is beating Spain. Our peak was losing to Belgium in that
oh,
in
yeah.
that
And then, yeah, yeah, because that was them in Belgium, dude. I
that
mean,
was like the best game. Like edge of your seat. Like if you weren't affiliated to Belgium or USA, you probably had the time of your life because that was a very intense game. And this was like you I think you were gonna say this was like the peak of the prime golden generation of Belgium.
yeah,
So
that's I was like that Belgian team was damn strong.
which by the way, I still point out that Tim Howard should have won the Golden Glove from that
Hey,
performance alone.
no lie, yeah.
That performance alone should have gotten the Golden Glove. But anyways, yeah, so there's a whole lot of conversations that are just coming back. It's just a lot of people feel like it's old man yells at cloud. In reality, it probably is. Definitely
Well,
is.
and then that's what I was gonna say. I was like, I guess maybe because we also keep going back to these teams, to these games, to these performances, and then that's when we're all like,
And then
we're
it's all
kind of,
these former U.S. men's national team players. You got Alexi Lalas speaking off. You have Landon Donovan speaking.
yeah,
You have Tim Howard speaking. You got freaking Eric Winalda on Goals TV speaking about it. Because like these guys come from teams that played with balls and grit, and that's not what we're seeing from this current U.S. men's national team. Once again, as talented as this roster is, we haven't seen them play with very much grit.
Yeah,
But anyway,
correct.
so here's the quote from Bruce Arena, and then we'll talk about it. If you look at every national team in the world, the coaches usually are domestic coaches. And I think when you have coaches that don't know our culture, our environment, and our players, it's hard. I'm sure our coach, Pochettino, is a very good coach. But coaching international football is different than club football. It's a completely different job. And I think when you're a national team coach, you need to know your environment. You need to know your animals, the animals you coach, and we're lacking that. If you're an American coach in a US team, you know the culture, you know the pride and how important the national team is. I think when you bring in somebody from the outside, they don't understand it, especially in our country because we're so different. You ask me, do we lack that kind of pride? I mean, I'm watching and I'm shocked that we can't beat Panama and Canada. It was shocking to me, and I don't want to be disrespectful as I want them to do great in the World Cup, but we only have a year left now. Time is running out, and they got to get going.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I hear him when he mentions that. Like I'm trying to think of like World Cup winning teams who had coaches that weren't from that country. I mean Argentina. I mean Scolari is it's Scolari, right? Lionel Scolari.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scolari, obviously Argentinian. Um, France. Yeah, he's French. Um, what was after that one? 2018, right? No, that 2018 was France. 2014, Germany. Yeah, German coach. 2010, yeah, Spain, Spanish coach. 2006, Italy. Was that an Italian coach?
I think so. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, man.
I mean, anyways, the last World Cup winners have all had coaches from the same country. I don't know. Is that important to have like a coach from that country?
Mm, let me see. So I remember Luis Felipe Scolari.
Yeah, for Argentina. And then France had the I can't remember his name, but I know he's French. And then obviously Germany. I mean, come on, low. I mean the guy the ass sniffer. So I mean, yeah, the ball sniffer as well.
Wait,
Yeah,
wasn't it
he's
wasn't
Germany.
it Deschamps? Was it
Deschamps, right?
Deschamps?
Yeah, French.
Didier
So,
Deschamps.
but I'm just saying that like yes, like as far as recent World Cup winners, all the coaches have been of the same nationality as the team.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I was pointing out. I didn't really care about who the coaches were.
yeah.
And I believe Italy's coach was probably also Italian. So man, I mean he's got a point to it, but I mean like as of lately, what? I mean Brazil right now is like talking to Ancelotti to be their next coach. Clearly their Brazilian coach wasn't good enough. So and then I mean Tuchel is coaching England. That just feels weird saying that out loud. I'm trying to think of other coaches. I mean, I think all of Latin America, and when I say Latin America, I mean Central America, because I believe
Yeah.
El Salvador has I don't know what country of origin the coach is for. I know he's not Salvadorian. I know that for a fact. I believe Christensen, the coach of Panama, he's European. Um, I mean Mexico had Tata Martino as their coach. Now they have Aguirre, which is the Mexican coach. So, and I mean Canada has Jesse Marsh as their coach. So I think it like as far as CONCACAF goes, it's just a
I think
normality.
it's just yeah, I think it's a normal thing with the CONCACAF. Like to get a player or I'm sorry, a
Saudi
coach that's
Arabia, Saudi Arabia, I believe also. I think they have Is a French coach. Rened. Not Renier, not Claudio Renier,
Yeah, no.
but this other guy that's like really hot. I don't know why I had to point that out, but he is. Um, no, but I think yeah, I think Bruce Arena has some sort of point, but I think like also U.S. has had a good track record with with guys with coaches that were not from the U.S. I mean, look, say what you want. I mean, I didn't think Jurgen Klinsmann was that bad. People speak of him like he's the devil. I
Yeah,
don't know why. I don't get that feeling for him. I think he was a really good coach for the U.S. I think his time with the U.S. wasn't that bad. I mean, also we don't know how it would have finished. You know that 2018 World Cup qualifiers, right? Because obviously they fired him when they felt like the U.S. wasn't doing good. That's when they brought in Bruce Arena. Clearly that didn't help anyway because they didn't qualify for the World Cup that year. So it's you know I don't know I don't know if I would have let Jurgen Klinsmann finish the job off. But you never know, right? You're never gonna have that answer because you fired Jurgen Klinsmann. You didn't give him a chance to really turn him around. Um, do I am I saying to give Jurgen Klinsmann some leeway? Yes. I think once again you had one of the best U.S. men's national team performances in a losing effort, but still had one of the best U.S. men's national team performances, and I feel like because of that you give the guy some leeway. But I don't know, man. I think the nationality of the coach maybe does matter in certain levels
yeah,
when your country can develop coaches. But I think for the U.S., you just there's not a lot of good U.S. soccer coaches. Like, I mean, Jesse Marsh was a good one, but we kind of, USA kind of did him wrong. That's why he took the Canadian job. You know, I mean, I would be intrigued by Matarazzo, but I think he's doing good. I don't know where he's at now. I think he's now with. Last time I checked, he was with Hoffenheim. I don't know if he's still with them, but yeah, I don't know. I really don't think necessarily that like the coach's nationality necessarily matters. I think as far as like maybe to instill pride, the national pride, maybe that's important. But then at the same time, like the U.S. has been doing a lot of like recruiting for guys that are non-U.S. born.
yeah,
Like no offense to Gino Des, no offense to Yunus Musa, no offense to Balogun. Trying to think of anybody else, but no offense to those guys, but like they really don't know what it means to be an American. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be on the team. That's not the whole point of this conversation. And I think maybe that's the argument for what Bruce Arena is saying about like bringing in a coach that isn't American, like they don't know what it means to be American. Well, neither do some of our players do. And to be honest, man, like I mean, what Christian Pulisic has been, yeah, he grew up in Hershey, Pennsylvania, but then moved to Dortmund.
yeah. And
Same thing for Weston McKennie. Yeah, he's from Texas, but then he moved to Germany. When he was with Schalke. Like most of these guys, like at young ages, left their
excuse me.
homes. So do they really know what it means to be an American? Probably not. They probably have learned more from that culture. Yes, they probably done some American things, but I mean, like, still at the end of the day, they grew up in a different culture.
Yeah,
So
true.
I think playing with pride is different from playing from being an American. Like playing with pride means that when things aren't working, like tighten up those bootstraps and try to get a result in. That's what I mean when I say play with pride. You know, play for the not only for the badges on your shirt, but the name that's on your back. Like you're
Yeah.
representing your family. There's things that you play for pridefully. So, but I don't know. I think that there's some sort of valid argument, but I think at the end of the day, the U.S. just hasn't produced a an American coach that makes you feel like, wow, we got our own Pep Guardiola.
I mean, I don't know.
Look, if you disagree with me, disagree with me. If not, it's cool.
No, it's because I'm trying to think who would make, like, I've been thinking this whole time, like, honestly, like, you've been talking about this and you kind of got me pondering and thinking, and I'm overthinking it. It's like, who would be a U.S. men's national coach that would be of U.S. nationality that I feel would be the ones to actually give this team the grit to make them dogs again? Because I'm not going to tell you like that this team that played against Panama, that team that they played against Mexico, that they're oh man, they were dogging, they were hardcore, they were this, they were that. Like they played it to the level that they felt comfortable in, and then they didn't actually, push themselves out of that comfort zone. That's how I feel. So now I'm like thinking, I'm like, man, I was like, I was thinking maybe I have never seen this. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe a goalkeeper as a coach like Tim Howard, somebody who's been has that type of fire and on the field with that competitive spirit. I don't know. And even though Clint Dempsey is just being commentaries and stuff like that, but maybe even he could be like an assistant coach to be helping out with the strikers with the offense, stuff like that. Um, Damn, like I just started thinking about all this right now.
You were thinking about like former U.S. men's national team players, but like
Yeah,
obviously, I don't know. I think Tim Howard kind of likes where he's at as a punt, and I mean now he's a part owner of the Houston Dynamo, so I think that like I think at some aspect it's kind of like a conflict of interest if he's like I don't know. I feel like that's a conflict of interest if you're coaching but you own a team. Um, as much as I say like a lot of bad things about Landon Donovan, he wasn't necessarily like a terrible coach.
yeah.
There's my one nice thing about Landon Donovan. I don't know, man. Like Jermaine Jones just recently got fired. I don't think he's the right guy. Um, Eddie Johnson is like very much more focused on like youth development, which completely fine with. By the way, guy's a dog. By the way, which I love Eddie Johnson. Um, also, always thought he was taller. I think he's like 5'9" or something like that. But I always thought he was like 6 foot. Could but definitely played like he was 6 foot. Um, huh, yeah, I just don't know any guys, man. Like I mean, I don't definitely not Chirundalo. So yeah, I really don't know it. Like I think Alexi Lalas used to be a coach at one point. I don't know what's worse. Yeah, I don't think Alexi Lalas should be a coach by any means. This is definitely not me saying that he should be a coach. Yeah, I just don't think that there's a coach right now out there that just like screams like, yeah, this guy could be the next coach, U.S. men's national team coach. Uh, Probably would have been Jesse Marsh.
Probably would have been.
If I'll be
That's
honest
what
with
that's what we were hoping, weren't we?
Yeah, I mean, look what he's doing with Canada.
Yep.
I mean, last Copa America, USA was grouped. So was Mexico. The two countries that actually made CONCACAF look decent was Panama and Canada, the two teams that USA lost to in the CONCACAF Nations League. Like, say what you want, man, but I think well, yes, U.S. men's national team poor performances, but also can we give props to Canada and Panama? Like
Yeah.
they have gone better. They have they've taken strides to have a better national team. Like it could be a combination of USA getting worse, but also it's a combination of Panama and Canada getting better.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And so I mean like is it the coach's fault? I think for Pochettino the things that was necessarily his fault was just that he just didn't have the guys I think mentally correct after halftime.
Yeah.
I think that that's where he faltered. As far as the players go, there wasn't any like pride until I saw Diego Luna. Until I saw Diego Luna make a pass to the only goal that came from that Nations League because he got the ball, he made the play. Honestly, Edward, I think you probably will become like one of the biggest Diego Luna fans because the kid just plays with grit. He plays with balls, man. Like that's why Diego Big Balls Luna. Like I mean, like
Diego Ball.
Pochettino said that.
Yeah.
The guy literally busted it, broke his nose, and Pochettino's like, "Should I take you out?" He's like, "Nah, let me keep playing." He's like take me out at halftime. Goes back out there, gets an assist
Yeah.
immediately after he was allowed to be back on the field. Like when you think of those 2014 U.S. men's the U.S. men's national teams of all, that's the mentality we're talking about. Like are we the best team in the world? No, like far none. you like as USA gets better, the rest of the world gets better. It's like a never-ending race that we're just never gonna get caught up to, unless we find out the steroid equivalent to it. Like they're like it's just gonna be impossible to be caught up to the rest of the world, and
Yeah.
I know that, you know. But like the thing that made Americans so different versus everybody else in the world was just this can't stop, won't stop mentality that they had, you know? And we don't have that mentality anymore.
Yeah. And that's true. That's true. And that does take a toll as well. Like
And this comes
it's
back to the
just
whole old man yells at cloud thing. It just
well that too, but it's just the fact of the matter too is just like we talked about it too. Like our star player, the Captain America, Christian Pulisic,
hmm
he's not that nitty-gritty, you know? Like I'm not saying that he doesn't play hard. It's just he's not that Clint Dempsey type of player, that
hmm
Landon Donovan type of player,
hmm
where that's what we're missing, honestly, in the equation when it comes to a player being on the field, a team captain. Everybody looks too Pulisic as a team captain, but you don't really see him wearing the armband. You don't expect him
I
to
don't want him to have the armband. I
exactly.
think that like a lot of people need to understand like just because you're the best player doesn't mean you're the captain.
Exactly. It's just you
Like
have to show some sort of leadership, but he's not that player.
yeah, like your best player is never going to be. It could be. I think it's like that the Venn diagram, right? Like you could be a good you could be a great player, but you could be a terrible captain at the same time.
Yep.
Like to make a good captain, like you don't necessarily have to be the best player,
Yep.
And so like I think are there those instances where the best player just happens to be the captain? Sure. I mean, Lionel Messi in his own way is a good captain. And the only reason why
Yep.
I say in his own way because he's not a vocal captain. He is a lead by
He's
example
a
guy.
yeah,
And
exactly.
I don't think and unfortunately with Christian Pulisic, if you want to use that argument for his sake, no one's following him.
And then
It
and also like his actions are not as
they're not allowed.
memorable.
Yeah.
They're not memorable. It's not like you're gonna see like, man, did you see that goal? Did you see that he took on like four players, three players, two players just to get to the goal?
Yeah.
This
And honestly, here's the thing. The player that I think about as far as like when if things were to go that were about to go down and we need him to need a spark, I'll look at that guy and it's a guy that I have said I hope will exceed Christian Pulisic, and that's Gio Reyna. But unfortunately, right now he's turning into a real nepo baby, and it's pissing me
yeah.
off. And also, he just can't. He just needs to go somewhere where he's gonna play. Borussia Dortmund clearly he's not. He has no future at Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't know, man. Like I just don't know who's that guy. Um, because I think of Weston McKennie is. I used to think Weston McKennie a lot. Like I think Weston McKennie, not as a captain, but I think as a guy that like when things are not looking great, who do you look to make that big decisive play, whether it's a defensive play or a much needed goal? I looked at Weston McKennie, but I don't think he's a captain. I think Tyler Adams is honestly, as of right now, if you look at the U.S. men's national team, is Tyler Adams. I think Tyler
Yeah.
Adams is a good leader. He's a vocal leader. Is he the best player on the field? No. Is he a good
But
player?
he's but
He's a good
but
player.
he's a good player, but he's also like you said, he's vocal. He shows the grit.
He just
And
can't
that's
stay
one thing.
healthy.
Yeah, that's the only problem.
That's his only flaw is he just can't stay healthy. But I think he's a great, excellent choice for a captain. But I think that's things that we're gonna figure out. Like I think, um, you know, I think another player that maybe some guys can feed off of is Johnny Cardoso. Which unfortunately, if I'm mentioning Johnny Cardoso, that means Tyler Adams is just not part of the plans. U.S. men's national team, or at least in my head, because Johnny Cardoso, I feel like what he's doing with Real Betis. And unfortunately, once again, it's another American who isn't maybe doesn't necessarily know what it means to be American, which I don't think is a bad thing, by the way. But like, I don't think people that need to understand the culture. I don't think that that matters. I don't like where that's where I get lost with Bruce Arena. Like, I mean, do I need you to understand my culture? Not. Do I need you to understand the U.S. Honestly, to be fair, I don't even know what the U.S. culture is because the U.S. culture is like a weird combination of everything. So
Yeah.
that's to me that's like you can't really specify what U.S. culture is because this country is such a melting pot of different cultures that you know technically I think Spanish is actually the unofficial language of the U.S. because of all the Spanish speakers that live here. But we don't know. I don't know. I get some. I get where Bruce Arena's coming from. I just don't think that like, oh, if we have an American coach, this all this goes away. Because like you and me mentioned, I don't know if there's a guy right now that can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I don't think there is. I honestly don't think there is.
there isn't. I think Poch is a fine choice. I
Yeah,
don't.
he's not. We would make fun of him. We would joke around and stuff like that. But I mean, dude, like he's actually a really decent coach. He's a good coach. I feel like he can actually do something with the U.S. men's national team. But it's just like I said, like we both said, it's just.
It comes down to the players, man. I think
Mhm.
at this point, it's just the players. It really is. Like I mean, we blame Berhalter for so many years, and you know. Clearly, if that's not if that mentality has always been a big issue, a big problem with me with these U.S. men's national team, and if Greg Berhalter's gone and it still hasn't been solved, it might be that locker room, man.
Yeah.
But all right, we're gonna take a break, and then Edward gets to flaunt about some stupid trophy that he just won.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at righteousfelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
All right, man. The 2025 Copa del Rey final has concluded, and FC Barcelona beat Real Madrid 3-2 in extra time.
You.
I will say, as far as this year, this 20 I guess 2024-25 season, this was the best El Clásico that we've had this year.
Yeah.
And it's not even close. It's not even remotely close. This was the most competitive one. This was a back and forth game. Barcelona had 59% of the possession. Barcelona also outshot Real Madrid 22-15. Also outshot with goals on target to Real Madrid 9-7. Though I will say, Real Madrid were slightly more efficient with their shot making. Not necessarily much of a flex, but at least there's that. Also, the record, well, not a record, but a massive amount of fouls, 34 fouls committed. Uh,
It was a quite, it was a lot. Even I was like, damn, it's like constantly every here and there, we're just getting up. It was like,
23 by Barcelona and 11 by Real Madrid. There were seven yellow cards that were issued in this game. Four came from Barcelona and three came from Real Madrid. And then in the final minutes of extra time, three red cards were given to Real Madrid. And all three, actually, two players were on the bench, and one of them was on the field. So,
hmm
we'll get there when we get there. But anyways, so the first goal came on the 28th minute by a goal from Pedri. And then the second half, that's where everything just started going. Um, Mbappe scores a free kick on the 70th minute. I think he just surpassed Cristiano Ronaldo, or is on pace to surpass Cristiano Ronaldo in goals. Actually, I think he did surpass him in his first year. So he
that's
surpassed Cristiano Ronaldo in goal scoring in his first season with Real Madrid.
that's
Uh,
crazy.
Manny scored a header to get them the lead. And then Ferran Torres gets this weird goal. I honestly still cannot figure out how even with Thibaut Courtois coming off his line, I don't understand how Rudiger couldn't get to the ball. But also, I will say,
Well, well,
give props to Rudiger. This dude was like had his both his legs wrapped. And I mean, I think when he was on the bench when he threw that ice cube at that referee, he had like ice bags on like both his knees.
but
So
that was after he got subbed out. But still, like even when I saw the highlight of it, and when Rudiger was running, he could have actually outstretched his leg to try to see if he could stop it, but when he tried to run right after it, he was just trying a regular run. He didn't even try to slide for it
yeah,
until it was too late. Until it was too late.
yeah.
Then it was like it was already ahead of him, and he tried sliding, and that's when I was like, dude, no. I was like, you should have slid earlier, and you would have actually stopped it. It would have been stopped right there, and it would have been a whole different outcome. But he didn't. And the thing is,
But I'm
it is
sure
his
you're
knee.
glad
It is his knee.
he didn't.
Yeah, yeah,
Glad-
no, but no, but as like like looking at this in I guess you could say in like in a physical perspective, it's like his knee just gave out, and I think it wasn't even a slide tackle that he tried to stop the ball. It was more of like him knowing he was defeated, and he just kind of outstretched as just to try to make it seem like he was
Mhm.
getting for the ball, and then he was just like, "Yeah, I'm tired. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm
Yeah, and
gassed."
once again, props to Rudiger. The guy gave everything up in that game. To be honest with you, so I obviously completely ruined because he threw an ice cube at a referee. So, which I can't believe I'm even saying that sentence. So, but yeah, and then in extra time, the winner came from Kounde, who honestly in a goal that I'm
That
still I'm
goal was.
speechless. I'm speechless
Dude, I'm
on.
okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. That goal, and I'm gonna tell you the way he kicked the ball, it wasn't even no era un tiro colocado. It was more of it was just a slap shot of like, I'm gonna just wing it and shoot it and hope for the best. And it helped. It happened because it looked like it was more of like like he just shanked it and he just went like, I'm just gonna kick it because I want to see if it'll go in. Kind of, it's a desperation kick, and whenever we see those kind of kicks, we hardly ever see them go in. But that one, I was surprised that it went in. Like I was happy it went in, but I was really surprised that it went in.
No, yeah, I mean, and then it comes from a magic pass that Brahim Diaz. I don't know what was going on with him. He just kind of froze in that moment, did not run up to the ball, and Kounde just kind of slipped right in and intercepted that pass, and then just puts one in the back of the net. Um, which kind of just took everything off out of the team. I think things start going a little bit crazy, kind of in those final moments. Also, ESPN, what the hell? There obviously Edward, you didn't watch the game live, but there was some technical difficulties. We weren't able to watch like the final minutes of stoppage time in regular time. So we got stuck having to listen to Alejandro Moreno for I felt it felt like an eternity. So
Oh,
that
for
bit,
real?
yeah. So they're like, oh, let's talk about the goals that have been scored so far. And I'm just like, I don't want to talk about the goals that have been scored so far. I want to see if there will be a goal scored so far to end this game. And no, it went to extra time. And then there was again a more technical difficulty. So ESPN, what a bad job, bad job. People spend money for this subscription service, by the way, and for it to have this kind of technical difficulties in a match of this magnitude, a final, not only a final, but a Clásico, for that to happen, that's just inexcusable. As inexcusable as Brahim Diaz being frozen when the ball was coming his way. Uh, but and then I mean, let's talk about the whole thing that started with this whole red card, these red cards that came in. So Real Madrid was making a push for a run. Mbappe apparently smacked Eric Garcia in the face, and then so they had to stop the game to see if Eric Garcia was okay, and which they called a foul on Mbappe. I don't think it was a foul. Also, to be fair, I'm gonna say this: yes, the referees definitely favored more Real Madrid. There was two clear opportunities for penalties for Barcelona. The handball, I wasn't really. I think once again, I don't know what we need to do with handballs. Like intent, is there intention? Is there not intention? Like these are things that we can't really like. It's opinion based. where I
Yeah.
think it's kind of dumb. But also, I get it. The whole like if it to make it black and white, like if it's a handball, it's a handball kind of thing. I also think it's kind of stupid as well. But like, it's like how do we grade intent? Like how do we rate that? Like how do we count
Yeah, because I
what?
mean, because I mean, even when you go for the ball, let's put it this way: even when you go for the ball, and we've been on the receiving end of this, when we go for the ball, and then someone just barely tips it, like they just hit it with the tip of their toe and lift it up, and you're already on the half kick. You got your arm behind your body, and you miss the ball, but the ball somehow hits the back of your hand or your palm, whatever, while you're midair kicking the ball, trying to get it out of there. eh, that's not intentional. You're not trying to kick the ball with your hand. You're literally missing the ball and you leave your body kind of like trying to just, stop the ball, but your arms kind of like behind you when you're trying to kick, you know? And but yeah, I mean intentional, unintentional, that's one thing. It's because if you put let's put it this way. I mean, I've done it before.
But I mean,
Um
so Valverde, I didn't feel like it was a handball, but I know that that's something that people argued for. Um, did you consider Valverde's handball a handball?
not really.
Okay, but the most egregious one was the one with Danny Ceballos. Clearly, is pulling the shirt out of.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think that was who was the player? It was Martin.
I think
Martin.
Martin. Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around along those lines. But yeah, so he pulls the guy's shirt. Obviously it hits the post, but I think obviously if Martin is able to, or Martin or Martin, however his name is, if he's able to get his foot in, that's an easy tap in, right?
Yep.
So I think that one definitely should have been a penalty, but refs didn't call it. I don't know why. Also, there was a lot of controversy going in with this referee because apparently this referee is I guess his kid gets bullied a lot at school because I guess they give he's more biased towards Barcelona or something along. I don't know. It was stupid. I think like obviously like the Spanish FA if that's the case, maybe if he has that kind of track record. And I mean, it's neither here or there. Obviously, clearly in this match, I do feel like Real Madrid got more favorable calls. But I don't know. I think if you have a guy that has it, like people are complaining about it. I know it was more towards Real Madrid, but like I think if there was just complaints in general of a certain referee, like why would you pick him to be the guy to call a game of this magnitude when especially when it's Real Madrid and Barcelona? Like you're giving Real Madrid an excuse from the jump. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so obviously that wasn't I did I don't know what to me I guess this referee was like, well, today is not going to be where my kid gets bullied. You know, like I guess I don't really know what else happened. Like it was the game was just weird, but anyways the Eric Garcia call I just felt like was I don't think it was a foul. I think Mbappe is just running like most people run. His
Yeah.
hand just happened to hit Eric Garcia's face, and Garcia went ahead and tried to win an Oscar. That's my opinion. I don't know how you
Yeah.
feel, Edward.
It was the same. It was the same. It was the same with Rafinha. Rafinha was trying to win an Oscar too.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, to be fair, in the right vicinity, let's put it this way: if the ref didn't actually see it at that time when it happened, then yeah, it was actually. I'm not even gonna lie, it was a good dive. It looked like was it Asensio that went to for that tackle? That
Oh,
and
the would be penalty.
yeah,
Yeah, Rafinha.
yeah, it was Rafinha. But
Yeah,
I'm saying,
Rafinha got the
was it?
yellow for diving.
No, no, he got the yellow for diving. I understand that, and I agree with that. But I'm saying,
Oh, did Asensio pull him down?
did a no, no, no. Did
Wait,
it was Asensio the player that pulled him down, right?
it was kind of weird. Like I
Technically,
feel
technically,
it.
it wasn't him really
There
getting
was in
pulled
fact a
down.
sliding. There
There
was
was
in
a
fact
slide, but it
a slide
wasn't a
from
full
Rafinha,
contact
but
at all. There wasn't full contact at all. What it was is it looked like he almost hit him, and before he hit him, he stopped himself because he knew, hey, there's gonna be a penalty if I go ahead and touch him. And
mhm.
Rafinha already had, I think he had committed to the dive. And once he went down, it wasn't like he could just be like, okay, let me go drag my foot back up and let me
Yeah.
try to make things better. No, it was done. Like it was done. Like he was already midair So he couldn't
Hmm.
have just been like, yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and go through with this and blah 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 blah. No, it wasn't gonna work that way.
No,
So
yeah,
yeah,
it was a weird that was a weird one. I was surprised that it was actually not called a penalty. Um, but then obviously I saw the angle where
yeah, that's how
there
the
was no
angle where there was
contact.
no contact at all. And even I was
So
like, man, Rafinha, what the hell is going on with you?
yeah, which I mean, how has Rafinha been doing lately? Because I know that like early, like at the first half of the season, Pure were prepared to hand him the ball in the door. I don't know how do you respond in the second half?
Um, well, the thing is, he wasn't really scoring. All he was doing, he was creating space. That's what he was doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then when he had
Like
the chance to
you're not
score,
handing him a ball in the door.
I'm not. I'm
Okay.
not, dude,
Okay.
honestly. But I mean, the thing is, like, I'll be honest, I am a little biased. I want the young 17-year-old to win the Ballon d'Or because he's been showing up. And the thing is, I don't know what you think about that foul that Denis Ceballos like smacked him in the face. And one angle, it looked like he
Oh,
didn't even hit him. But
I
it was
mean
like then when you see
the other
when they
angle.
showed when they showed the other angle and it was his fingers going into his eye and his lips, like you could tell that he went into his lips. And I was just like, oh, I was like, yeah, dude. I was like, you ain't supposed to do that crap. I was like, come on, dog.
But
Denis Ceballos, think about it.
at the same
30
time, no,
something year
no,
old.
I agree. I think he did get he definitely got a lot of hand on that face. Uh, it was I think what for me it was just when Yamal had to do the and then fell because
Yeah,
I don't know if it was like it obviously got a lot of hand on the face. I just don't know if it was like, oh no, my body, I'm in concussed now,
yeah,
kind of thing. The act the acting afterwards was probably where the referee was like, all right, come on up, nothing happened.
yeah.
Uh,
Nothing drastically happened.
I think a warning should have been given to Ceballos. Like if obviously they're not gonna replay it, like they're not gonna be like, hey, go check out what happened, but.
No, yeah. Because I
It,
mean, I'm pretty
you know
sure
what? It
he
made
got
me
some
think of the Lion
saliva up
King.
in
That's
there.
what it was. It made me think of the Lion King
Oh God.
When Scar fought Simba. No,
When
not
he
really.
goes,
Yeah, even
ah,
though it was never remotely at all like that. And even the commentary was even making some poking some fun at that part actually.
yeah,
Anyways, and I think the ref was like, "Come on," the announcer was like, "Come on, Lamine, you're better than this."
yeah.
Uh, but but yeah, to me more the more egregious one was just the Eric Garcia because I think that look, I'm not saying a goal would have happened, but it was a promising push.
Opportunity.
It was a promising opportunity for Real Madrid. You know, Mbappe, which, by the way, if you told me that this guy was injured, I probably wouldn't believe you.
Yeah.
Also, Edward also saw
Yeah,
the text.
he was doing that. He was doing those cuts. I was like, what?
Also, the text message between me and Edward where I was pissed off that Rodrigo got subbed out for Mbappe. Um,
Yeah, and then later on he's like, I take it back.
yeah, that's just me being a an adopted parent. Um, but but anyways, yeah, I think that was egregious. I don't know why the referee stopped it. Some guy on TikTok was saying, "Oh, it's a head injury," and I was just like, "Well, that's a reach."
A head injury?
Yeah, like Eric Garcia, they had to stop the game because of a potential head injury, and I was like, "Okay,
Wasn't that when Rudiger? Oh, I think that
this is
was when
when yeah
Rudiger was.
when the red cards are happening. This we're gonna get to that part, but like I think then that's the cause of the uproar from the bench." Because you stopped a who knows what could have happened because you call it a foul, so now it's gonna be a free kick for Barcelona. Um, wasn't really a foul. It just Eric Garcia just his hand just Mbappe's hand just happened to be, because people they their arms move when they're running, and I mean from what I'm hearing as far as what I'm hearing from you, Edward, you didn't feel like it wasn't a foul.
It wasn't that big of a foul where it was like, okay, let me go VAR. Like, dude, just go take care of your shit. Let's go. Like, let's move on. But
Do you think they should have?
those.
Do you think the referee should have stopped the player at that moment?
Mm, I would have said kept it going. I would have said kept it going. But the thing is also Eric Garcia was the last man at that point because I don't think anybody else was in front of Mbappe. So Mbappe, I guess that's basically kind of like I guess you could say like in football, like the offensive foul. You know,
Yeah.
so I mean,
I
yeah,
think okay. I think where you're going off of if they didn't stop the game, but let the play conclude. If it ended with a goal, look back at see what happened there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they've done it before. They've done it to
I
where
mean,
they're like,
they do that
and
with
then
offsides now. Like if
they do it with offsides. They did it with Vinny. They did it with Vinny.
yeah. So yeah, but at that time, Real Madrid is already furious. Obviously they're not happy. You stopped a potential goal scoring play, essentially, for what many few is like maybe not the strongest of fouls. At least not a foul that's worthy of stopping play. And yeah, obviously then that led to Lucas Vasquez stepping out, stepping back into the field, yelling at the referee. Then you had Rudiger who literally threw an ice cube at the referee. It didn't hit the referee, but wasn't the intent was clearly there. And obviously gets red carded, and then he had to get basically dragged by the entire medical staff into the locker room. Um,
I saw that.
but honestly,
That
I
was
was right.
crazy.
I actually had that same energy though. I lost I'm not gonna lie, I lost my shit. I lost my shit at that moment. I felt bad, by the way, because my brother's cats got like completely startled. But yeah, no, I completely lost my shit. I did not like that call. I had the same amount of anger just as much as Rudiger had at that moment because I was like, how are you gonna stop the play for that? Like, and I'm with you with what you said. Like, if Mbappe did score a goal, okay. If they look back, I'm like, I'll be more mad at Mbappe, but at least you didn't stop the play.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think at the end of the day, probably the best El Clasico this year. Arguably the best class. I mean, we'll find out
Yeah, I was about
in
to
two
say
weeks.
we'll find out. We'll find
We'll find out
out.
in 2 weeks. But yeah, Barcelona wins their 32nd Copa del Rey. This is actually the only trophy that Barcelona has over Real Madrid, by the way, because
Yeah.
La Liga, Real Madrid has more La Liga titles, and obviously Champions League. But Barcelona does have Copa del Rey is just their thing.
Yeah.
And also, if you guys don't know, Barcelona is still in contention in Champions League and La Liga, so a treble is still in play for Barcelona,
Yeah, yeah, I was about to say, I was like, there's a chance for them to win the treble, actually.
which is a thing that Real Madrid has never done, by the way, and Barcelona has done it. With,
Barcelona has done it. I think with Pep, they've done it. They've done it with Pep for
they did it
sure.
with Luis Enrique, I
Luis
think.
Enrique, yep, they did it too. So
So
yeah,
Edwards
I mean,
witnessed the trouble a few times.
yeah,
That's all you got to hear from that. But yeah, no, Barcelona, and I once again, I don't look as someone. I think as someone, if you're on bias, if you're not a fan between these two teams, I think you just sat there and watched like a really great game. It had everything for you. It had the drama. It had goal scoring. It had a lot back and forth. I think you saw good quality play. Um, Obviously, if you're a Barcelona fan, you're happy because you got another win over Real Madrid. You stay undefeated against Real Madrid right now in the season as far as things goes. As a matter of fact, you outscored Real Madrid 12-4 this year. 13-5 if you conclude the friendly that happened in Dallas, Texas.
yep.
So yeah, I think this is a good result for Barcelona. Once again, everything's clicking back for Barcelona. You're back to now being in a better financial position than you were a few years ago. Hansi Flick, a guy that we all thought wasn't the guy, uh, turns out to be
Became the guy.
became the guy. He's using the academy.
Yep.
So I mean, yeah, Barcelona is very much back, um, and I said it. I saw this coming. I will say as a Madrista, I didn't necessarily feel confident going into this game for Real Madrid, just because they have not been able to have a solution against Barcelona. I mean, they found some solutions against Barcelona, but it clearly didn't work all the way through. Um, but yeah, no, I think
I
all in all, it was a
mean,
good game. Great game, by the way.
I
I'm
mean
not.
to be honest with you, bro, like I'm not trying to hype up the Barca players, but like it's been hard for them to stop Lamine Yamal and Rafinha. They've been able to stop Lewandowski because what
This is
Lewandowski,
their best performance against Lamine Yamal and Rafinha. And by
yeah,
the way, Lamine Yamal got like 2 assists in this game.
yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying. So that's it, it's pretty doggone
this is our best performance
crazy.
against Lamine Yamal.
Yeah,
Actually,
like
I think
Lamine.
last year we had better performances against him. But
No, that's
this,
the thing. But the thing is because Lamine Yamal is getting better, and that's scary for the Real
yeah,
Madrid
no, he's a
fans. You know, it's scary.
no, yeah, that's the reality. But the thing is, once again, you need both these teams at their best. and this was a
Yep.
year where Real Madrid have not been on their best. Like, look, the people are gonna be like, "Oh, we're injured." Stop using that excuse. Like, we're supposed to be the team that has all the world class players in the world. Blah blah blah. Whatever that shit. Like Asensio, I think has done fairly well for himself. Am I saying he should be the everyday starter? Probably not. But I think that you have something here with
He
Asensio.
he's good. He's good. And I'm gonna be honest with you. He's a good center
He's
back. He's a good
he's good.
defender.
Which, by the way, like if you're Spanish and you're trying to pick between Cobrasi and Asensio, you guys are set for life.
Yeah,
These
pretty
guys aren't
much.
even. I think they're maybe
They're
barely
both
20.
back and forth. Yeah, they're the Spanish team. That's it. You got Kovarci and you got Asensio.
You
And
got that
then
Dutch kid
you're good.
that chose to be Spanish. The guy that plays for
Uh
Bournemouth. Uh,
was
Real Madrid's trying to get him.
Yeah,
Um,
I know who you're talking about. What's his name?
I don't know, but anyway, I just think it's funny that I don't want to play for Dutch. I want to play for Spain.
I mean,
That's gonna be a great Spanish kid, by the way. With the Dutch name. I mean, you're gonna have all these like multi international players. So, I mean, we're gonna see more different last names now. I mean, it's not just the guys that are African that also have like other nationalities. But anyways, I mean, Lamine Yamal, prime example.
yeah.
Also, it's just Spain. You guys are just set.
Yeah, they're set,
Jesus,
dude. They're set for
bro,
life.
this team is gonna be like if they don't win like a world like this coming World Cup, they're gonna win a World Cup. Probably more. They'll
They're
win a Euro.
they're gonna win something.
Like this,
I'll tell you that
wow,
right
dude,
now.
this team, this national team, dude. If you're Spanish, just be happy that you have all this, and hope Catalonia doesn't ever separate from Spain.
Yeah.
So,
You're straight up, dog.
but and yeah, I mean, like, bro, I hate that cat like Lamine Yamal. By the way, I mean, I tell you, well, obviously when he gets to wear the Spanish kid, I can kind of like him, but like I hate that I can't like give props to Lamine Yamal. That this kid is just so unreal, dude. The guy's 17, he's
He's
17 years old
17.
and has
Yeah.
more trophies than you could think of.
He's got the Euro. He's got the Copa del Rey. He might get La Liga. He might get a Champions. Um, he might at 17 might get a Ballon d'Or, bro.
Well,
Like,
he'll be 18 when he gets the Ballon d'Or, but for the season that he was 17 years old, yeah, I get that.
yeah,
Um, bro,
like,
yeah, Barcelona, like, I mean, just Spain in general, you guys are set for life, but like, wow. This was
but
a
that
good final.
wing,
This was a great
yeah,
final, though. This is what I want El Clásico to be every year. Not the last few El Clásicos where Barcelona just ran away with it. Like this is how these games are supposed to be. Look, and also for Real Madrid fans, when you're thinking I'm being like super negative on them, there's something here. Obviously Carlo Ancelotti's leaving. Like I believe he's in talks now with Brazil where he's going to be the next Brazilian coach. Um, but I think there's something here if you're Real Madrid. You have players. You're gonna get the best players in the world. I hope that you guys don't have enough money for Trent Alexander-Arnold. I hope that gets declined. I don't want him here. Um, you're gonna go get a new haul of players. You're obviously you're gonna be working on getting that. You're gonna get trying to get younger, right? David Alaba is probably out the door. As much as I would love to see Rudiger back, I just don't know how much more he can give. The dude is like literally he's that one guy from SpongeBob that was like wrapped in bandages at this point. I don't know if you
yeah,
remember that guy.
wrapped in bandages. Man, I wish
When
I could tell you,
When
dude.
SpongeBob and Patrick were selling chocolate.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, that's basically Rudiger now. Like the dude's giving up his body for everything, and I love it. But yeah, he's not getting younger either. Militao, I mean, like when's he gonna be healthy? So I mean,
Bro, yeah, I was about to say, I was like, I haven't
yeah,
even.
like it is I mean, Asensio, and I mean, if you go get that kid from Bournemouth, like you have a solid young
Oh,
center back pairing.
well, actually, hold on. And I know you're probably gonna say this cup means nothing, but Barcelona is actually on the might actually do a quadruple because they might. They won the Super
Oh,
Copa,
the Spanish Super.
Copa del Rey.
This is
Yeah.
when you can flex a quadruple.
This is when
Like
you can't flex it.
this is when you can flex it. Like I don't think it's part. I don't like. Well, everyone was saying last year Real Madrid accomplished a treble because they won like La Liga, Champions League, and then they won the Spanish Super Cup. I was like, this is not a treble. Like no, you don't count that unless you win Copa del Rey, and then you say we got a quadruple. So yes,
So they're on
you're
their way.
Barcelona's definitely on. You can use the quadruple. This is when you use the quadruple. And then for next year's, whenever the next Club World Cup happens, and if Barcelona's in it, wait, is Barcelona is in the Club World Cup, or was that
Um,
just Champions League winners?
I don't remember. I would think it was just Champions League winners
Okay,
that year.
okay, fair
So
enough.
it was, yeah.
All right, so well, whenever they get if they make it to the next Club World Cup, then you could say, oh, we got won five in a year, whatever the penta
Yeah.
is the pentuple, whatever it's called,
The
um,
pentuple.
pentuple,
I'm
pentuple.
done.
Anyways, but I mean, but for Real Madrid, I think that there's going to be some changes. Obviously, first off, whoever's going to be the next coach, whether it is Jurgen Klopp, um, whether it's Xabi Alonso. If it is Jurgen Klopp, I will say we got a solution to Hansi Flick, but I think Xabi Alonso is probably like the way to go.
Yeah.
But I will say also, I think more and more, I think Rodrigo's leaving.
You think so?
Probably, I don't. When I see Vinny and Mbappe working together. I see them moving together. And it's just like it's hard not to ignore that. Like I give props to Rodrigo to make the best out of this, trying to make this 4-3-3 work. But maybe Brahma should maybe they're just now used to playing that 4-4-2 diamond. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
maybe Mbappe can play on the right. Or Vinny can play on the right. And then Jude goes back to playing the role that he played last year. And if that's the case, like I mean, there's no room for Rodrigo. I don't know. Rodrigo isn't a guy that should be running the bench, is what I'm saying. I think he needs to go somewhere he's going to play. And that's going to hurt me because he's my favorite player on the team. Well, he, also Dan and Valverde. But yeah, it sucks. But I think that like there's going to be a lot of changes for Real Madrid. I think, dude, I knew Carlo Ancelotti was going to get fired. I knew it. I hate that I knew this was happening. This is literally what happened last time when they won La Decima. The following year, when they got remember they got rid of Angel Di Maria, they got rid of Xabi Alonso, and they bring in
Yeah.
Tony Cruz, and James Rodriguez. It was a weird year for Real Madrid that year too. This is a weird year for Real Madrid, and and what happened? Ancelotti becomes the scapegoat and he gets fired.
Yep.
I knew this was gonna happen. I hated that it's happening because it's not Ancelotti's fault. It's just that it's a weird year. Injuries happen. I don't like, and I hate using injuries as an excuse, but when you lose it at some very important play positions like right back and center back, this is what's gonna happen. You got, you got Valverde playing right back. You got Tchouaméni playing center back. Like guys that normally don't play those positions are playing those positions. Well, granted, you Valverde, you could probably plug him anywhere on the field and he'll play. Same thing for Camavinga, but like this was a weird year for Real Madrid, and that's why things went down kind of the way it went down. They beat who they were kind of supposed to beat, but they just couldn't get it over Barcelona. And I mean, this isn't me saying that this is only happening because Real Madrid are not doing well. No, Barcelona had the right game plan. They played to their strengths. Hansi Flick said, "Have you ran a mile yet today? And if not, go run five more." And this is the end product. This is how you're gonna get this team to be. This is no more the days of tiki taka, unfortunately. But I don't think Edward's complaining.
No, I'm not. And honestly, to be honest, with the tiki taka, it's not completely gone. Like it's still there.
I think it's
It's
just because
just
of that
they don't
German, the whole German. What's that? What they call it? Anyways, German
the
style
German
play.
style of play.
I don't know what they call it. Heavy metal football, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what Jurgen
Well,
Klopp calls it, I think. But
the
but I
thing
mean,
the thing is the thing is with that.
it still does involve a little pass movements. But I mean, it's not tiki taka esque.
No, whenever, okay, let me put it this way. whenever they have the ball, like let's say they're winning 2-0, you start seeing that a little bit more. You start seeing a little bit of a flare between the midfield. That's where you start seeing like Pedri, Gavi, they start moving around a little bit more. They start doing a little tic-tac pass and everything like that. And I mean, it's not gone completely because if you think about it, if they're coming out from La Masia, it's like that's ingrained into them, the Cruyff method.
Holy crap. Breaking news. Inter Miami just got their first loss of the season as they lost to FC Dallas.
Oh wow.
That's funny. In Inter Miami, by the way. At Inter Miami. So they were the FC Dallas was down 3-1, by the way. So
Ooh.
what a choke job. So all right, anyways, proceed.
No, but yeah, yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, because think about it. If you think about it really, that's been ingrained in Barcelona's academy since they first started. Tiki-taka. It's the way they play. It's the way that they touch. That's how they get their first touch movement up. That's
Hmm.
how they get everything working for them. But I mean, right now with Hansi Flick on the helm, it's like he's introducing them to a different type of style, which I'm not against.
And a lot of running.
Hmm. I mean, shoot, I may start implementing running into my own schedule just to be able to
Did
function
you,
daily.
did you run a mile today?
I'll be like, yes, I did. All right, we'll
then
run five
then
more.
then run five more.
Damn it, Hector.
It's Hansi Flick. That's Hansi Flick talking. The other Ache.
Hey, that works.
That
Hey, Jeff, what do you want me to do? I'm like, did you run a mile today? No. You're like, well, then run five more. I'm like, dang.
But all right, man. That is Copa del Rey. Um, yeah, man. A good final. I mean, as much as it sucked, it's okay. I already smoked one to make me feel better about myself. But
This dude.
and it was funny too because on the Wake Up MLS group chat, I was because obviously Jose and Davi are Barca fans, so they were kind of rubbing it in for a little bit. I shared my thoughts. I told them I hope they step on a Lego, and and
Just,
then I said, well, now excuse me, I'm gonna go cry myself to sleep while listening to some JoJo. So I changed it from I switched over. No Johnny Cash this time. Not that sad, but
down, 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 down.
I did play some Johnny Cash though. You can never go wrong with Johnny Cash. But JoJo, great, great, great artist, beautiful artist, by the way. Uh,
He's gorgeous.
a little too late. Anyways, but yeah, that is the Copa del Rey final. Congratulations, Edward. Congratulations, Barcelona, for winning their 32nd title. And yeah, Barca is back. I mean,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
if you,
yeah.
if you didn't realize Barca was back, or if you guys didn't realize Barca was back, Barcelona is now in fact backed. So, yep, that's
Yeah,
gonna.
and then they win champions, and then there's a quadruple. There's a quadruple. Then yeah, that's for sure. The Yeah, they're back.
I think Edward's fully aware, but you do know I'm gonna start hate watching y'all from here on out, right?
Yep, I'm fully aware of that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. This is our friendship. This is
Yep,
what our
this is
friendship
our
is for.
this is our
I
friendship.
I hope your team fails.
Yeah, love you too, buddy.
My team already failed, so mission
It's like
accomplished.
it's like love you too, bud. Love you too.
All right. Well, we'll segue over to players of the week.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
All right, players of the week. Edward is still here. So, Edward, who's your player of the week?
This dude, he's like, hey, we're gonna go ahead and start it off with players of the week. Edward. I'll be like, oh dang. All right. So players of the week. For me, I think you already know, since Barca won, it's gonna be Lamine Yamal, who had 2 assists in Barcelona's 3-2 win against Real Madrid.
And this is Ramage's definition of holding down best performance against Lamine Yamal. He didn't score a goal, but he did
He
help
didn't
get
score,
two.
but hey, no lie, dude. Hey, not even joking.
Well,
I
the
saw
Ferran,
the very first goal, the
the
Pedri
Pedri goal
goal,
was a good one. The
bro.
Ferran
That
Torres goal was
was
just we just don't know what happened there.
it's a Torres goal. It's like I think even the announcers were talking about it. They're like, oh yeah, they don't need a Lewandowski up front right now. They need a Torres, like a goal sniffer, like right now. Like Lewandowski is good. He's great. He's
I just
a
realized
pro.
that now.
It's like
Damn it,
Torres is
now you had to remind me that not only did they win, but they did it without Lewandowski.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
and that's the thing. It's like Lewandowski is hella good. Like he'll hold his
no,
own.
I know, but
It's
it
just
just makes me feel even worse. like, like,
I didn't mean to.
the best nine in the world wasn't available.
Ah,
Which I don't know. Jose from Gold TV, he feels that Luis Suarez is the greatest nine of all time. So um,
I mean,
I say it's Lewandowski, but
I would say Lewandowski, dude. Like
no offense to
at
Suarez. I
least,
mean, still great,
at
great
least,
striker.
be grateful, be grateful. It wasn't the Lewandowski from
Oh,
Borussia Dortmund.
did you not see the oh obviously because you don't watch MLS.
But
There was it MLS? I forgot. There was a oh yeah it was the LA Champions Cup. So LA so there was a scuffle between Inter Miami and LAFC, and Jordi Alba tried to pull Luis Suarez back, and Suarez resorted to biting Jordi Alba,
oh wow, Eee.
and it was just like, huh? So it is instinctive. That's
Damn.
his that's his ace in the hole.
I I can't say anything now. I'm just gonna be like,
Like, the whole biting Evra thing, then the guys from Ghana. Yeah, it was Evra, right?
yeah, I think so.
And then obviously the people of Ghana hate him for the whole handball thing. Did he bite anybody? Oh, Chiellini, he bit Chiellini, right?
Oh, Chiellini, yeah, when it was a
Yeah.
Italy
So
player.
all right, so now we know Luis Suarez is a biter. So I mean,
Ah,
now there's three instances. This time it wasn't even against an opponent. It was his own teammate. So his
yep.
own teammate that was trying to get him out of the fight.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, but and yeah. All right, so Lamine Yamal,
Yep.
player of the
So
week.
Lamine Yamal, that's my player of the week. Who's your player of the week, by the way?
My player is Morgan Sanson, who scored 2 goals in Nice's 3-1 win against PSG, which ends the undefeated season hopes for PSG.
Oh, damn. So you're just rooting for the person to basically stop that run, huh?
Not really. I mean, I don't know. I think it would have cemented something for PSG because obviously people are like, you and me and Kelsey have even said it. I mean, it's Ligue 1,
Hmm.
and so I think also for the sanctity of Ligue 1, right? I mean, we can't have this happen. Like we can't have people think that it's so easy for PSG, even though it kind of is. I mean, technically they already won the title, but yeah, no, I think it was just you just don't want this team to finish undefeated. I think it doesn't look great for the league's part, and Nice, who is a very good team. Well, okay, a very good team in Liga. I guess I should be more contextual when I say that.
Yeah.
They get a solid performance by Morgan Sanson, and PSG, which I would probably assume maybe not focus on Ligue 1 anymore, as they got Arsenal in the Champions League to worry about. So there you go. But yeah, that's my player, Morgan Sanson.
Okay.
So congratulations to Lamine Yamal and Morgan Sanson for being our Players of the Week. Players of the Week is brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is an amazing ticketing site and app that helps you get access to all your favorite live events, whether it's concerts, not movies, theater shows, comedies, and of course, sporting events. Me and Edward, we use SeatGeek a lot. We love their simplicity. If you guys don't know, it has a really easy grading system. If it's green and has a high score, that means for that price, for that section, you're going to enjoy your event. If it's red and super low of a score, that means whoever is trying to sell you these tickets are an idiot. Keep scrolling through the app. You're going to find some better seats. We love the simplicity of SeatGeek. And if you guys aren't sold just yet, use that code BellyUpSports at checkout and you'll save $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek.com. SeatGeek Life's an event. We have the tickets. Congratulations once again to Morgan Stanton and Lamine Yamal for being our players of the week. All right, well,
Yeah.
segue over to games to watch this weekend. Thank you, Edward.
All right, bro.
Fight and win!
All right, I'm always grateful to have Edward back on. Obviously, he won't be available next weekend, but he will be available the week after. So we continue our custody um, with Edward there. But yeah, games to watch this weekend. We got Sporting Kansas City taking on LA Galaxy. As of right now, the LA Galaxy has. Let me see. I don't know if they played yet today. LA Galaxy. Oh well, they're gonna play tonight against Portland. So, but so we'll see. Well, as of right now, LA Galaxy still has yet to have gotten a win. Could it be against Portland? Probably not. Who knows? But we do know for a fact that Sporting Kansas City has Jovovich, which is a former LA Galaxy player. So it is a Jovovich revenge game of some sort. And if they LA Galaxy still hasn't won a game, well, there's a little bit more spice to that game along with it. So check that game out. And Liga MX, we do have the final play-in game, which will be the winner of the winner of the 10th and 9th place game, and the loser of the 7th and 8th place game. Will to decide who gets that final playoff spot in the Liga MX playoffs, and then we go right into Liga MX playoffs. So get ready for that one. In Ligue 1, we got Strasbourg versus PSG and Lille versus Marseille. Bundesliga, we got RB Leipzig taking on Bayern Munich. Borussia Dortmund and VfL Wolfsburg taking on against each other in the Bundesliga. Guys, Bayern Munich, I believe if they win this game, they are officially champions of the Bundesliga, which means Harry Kane could be winning his first trophy, guys. And it's funny because he is actually suspended. So he cannot be on the field for this game. But Harry Kane might be winning a trophy, guys. Just brace yourselves because it's going to be pandemonium. It's going to be pandemonium. In the Serie A, we got Lecce taking on Napoli and Inter Milan taking on Hellas Verona. Obviously, Napoli and Inter Milan battling it out to see who gets the Serie A title. In La Liga, we got Rayo Vallecano and Getafe versus Getafe, and Las Palmas taking on Valencia. So some non-big name teams facing off against each other. In the Premier League, we got Arsenal versus AFC Bournemouth and Chelsea versus Liverpool. I mean, at this point, Chelsea's playing for a better position. Liverpool is officially the champions of the Premier League. So it's just really about seeding now, getting a spot in the Champions League for Chelsea, especially with that new 5th place spot being a Champions League spot for the Premier League. But all right, those aren't all the games that are happening this weekend. But if you guys need a good beginner's guide, I think we just give you guys some good matches to go ahead and watch. So, all right, we're going to take one more break and then we'll wrap this show up.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at Belly Up Sports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, we can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to episode 216. It was fun to have a conversation with Edward, as we always do. It's always good combos. It's kind of funny because before we were recording, we were talking, and then I was like, I don't know why we're talking right now. We need to save this for the podcast. So that's like I'm not kidding when I tell you guys, like, our conversations are legitimately like this. We go way off track and then somehow find our way back into the topic. This is probably a little bit more veering away when it's me and Edward when we're off camera, but these are really our conversations. Like, this is like legitimately us. And so I'm not trying to sugarcoat it, you guys. It's funny because I was talking to my mom today, and she was telling me how it's been almost 29 years since we moved into our neighborhood, which Edward lived like a few houses down from us. And so, which meaning that it's been almost 29 years since me and Edward have been friends. So, because once again, I've known Edward since I was 4 years old. So our friendship goes way back, which is funny because a lot of people, they tell us a lot that, like, you don't see that. You don't hear that anymore. You don't hear about guys that have, people in general that have been friends for so long. And yeah, me and Edward have been friends going back to when I was 4 years old. And, to this day, still a big part of each other's lives. And that's one of the reasons why why I wanted to start this podcast with him was because we have this genuine chemistry. Like, we're obviously best friends. So I just thought it was really cool, and it was really cool to think about, how long it's been, us being friends. Sometimes we don't think about how long it's been. We just know that we've been friends for a real long time. So it's really cool to have that, and it's cool that we have so many people that enjoy the show. Like Belly Up Sports, man. Check out the website, bellyupsports.com. It's back. Website's back. Articles being written, NFL draft discussions, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. I'm sure they're going to get right back into the whole NFL discussions. Golf. I'm sure golf is being discussed. Lots of things happening. So make sure you guys see what's going on there. BellyUpSports.com. Also follow them on Instagram and X at BellyUpSports, so you can stay informed and what's going on. Also check out their YouTube channel, Belly Up Sports, as well. Also, Goals TV, man. Goals TV. That's another way that you can watch us, full episodes, and also the video clips that we share on our YouTube channel. That's also available on Goals TV, golz.tv. It is an amazing platform. Go ahead and check it out, man. Follow them on Instagram at goals.tv, golz.tv, and on the X at goals_TV, golz_TV. So you know what's going on over there. Big things are happening. Lots of cool stuff happening. I'm not trying to give out too many details, but lots of cool stuff is happening at Goals. Go ahead and be on the ready, because it's gonna be popping, man. I mean, you already see Eric Winalda there. You see me from time to time on Wake Up MLS, man. So go in there, check it out, man. It's a great platform, especially if you're a soccer fan wanting to watch more content by soccer content creators. So great space over there. And of course, if you listen to this podcast and you hear the intros and outros for this podcast, it is made by no one other than Roosevelt Spencer. We love Roosevelt Spencer, man. This guy has been with us from day one. He has done all our beats. Back when we used to do singing bits, he had to edit our audio to make it sound good, which it was impressive nonetheless. But we care about Spencer. We love Spencer so much that we have named our Player of the Year award the Roosevelt Spencer Player of the Year award in honor of him. So if you guys love the intros and outros that we have here, go ahead and check out Spencer on Instagram at That Guy Dope. Once again, at That Guy Dope. And get ready. If you guys need some beat work done, reach out to him and he'll take great care of you like he always does with us, man. So also forgot to mention it, but our dog of the month for the month of April is going to be Jey Uso, for winning the World Heavyweight Championship. WrestleMania was a big thing that did happen this month, so congratulations, Jey Uso. You are a dog, and you are a dog. Yeet. So, also, and I haven't been keeping up with wrestling, but I know at least there was like some sort of thing with you and Rhea Ripley, so dog. So congratulations to our dog of the month for April, Jey Uso. Took you to the end of this episode to find out who was going to be our dog, but there you go. So thank you so much, guys. Thanks for listening, and catch us next week for episode 217. Take care, guys.